It's important to set context of people who are holding these cards, what they should do.
तुमको आज शायद एक कार्ड की जरूरत नहीं है, लेके रखो. I'll give you this analogy कि आजकल क्रिकेट चल रहा है, IPL, right? Impact substitute बहुत important है. This for me has been the IndusInd Avios card.
I think this is the only card which has survived some part of the devaluation, right? These programs like Club Marriott, for example, एक तो पहले से ही customers को features समझते नहीं है.
यार 16,000 में तुम 3 रात दे रहे हो, with breakfast दे रहे हो, private pool in a suite. मेरे को लगा genuinely scam. Still had a feeling कि how is this possible?
को हमेशा सुनते रहते हैं हम first class business class redemption करते हैं. I also want to bring the perspective of how many mistakes we make every year.
Aadil always says कि यार तुम flexi booking करो पर आप pay अभी कर दो. I didn't do that.
And it hurt like hell.
It hurt.
You learned it the hard way.
I still haven't learned it. अभी वो process हुआ नहीं है एक तरह से.
It also works wonderfully when you're withdrawing money from the ATM abroad.
Superb.
Zero cost. It's so underrated. You don't understand how much of an effort that you save.
And then there is this big question that everybody wants to answer. Boss, Horizon का क्या सीन है?
सिंपल फ्रेमवर्क में यूज करता हूँ. मैं कुछ भी नहीं सोचता. मुझे कोई भी कितना भी डरा दे, मैं कुछ नहीं करता. लाइक फॉर मी इट्स वेरी सिंपल. प्लीज अज्यूम फ्रॉम हियर ऑन, whoever is watching this show, every year every card will get devalued.
Yes.
And the only way to protect yourself is
I think this has been a super fun episode. I think this year of all the podcasts that I have done, this has been my personal favorite.
Flashing bright, we're on the go. Tune in now, there's so much to know. Earning bits, travel dreams we sow. All aboard the great Indian Points and Miles show. Zero to hero in the blink of an eye. Fly first class, no need to be shy. Redemption sweet, touching the sky. Award seats booked, let's give it a try. Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the great Indian Points and Miles show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo.
Hello and welcome to another fun episode of the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. This is your host Aadil and we're back with a very cool series of episodes starting today. What is happening in the world of credit cards, particularly in 2026, has been wild, crazy and nothing short of astonishing. This year, like most of you have already coined, is the devaluation year. Pretty much everything is getting devalued left, right and center. We thought January was nuts. Turns out March and April have really been sucker punches. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. Today is going to be a special on Axis Bank credit cards. And very, very soon as we are done with this episode, coming up on our pod is going to be an HDFC special and then also an American Express special. So let's get started. Today, for the Axis Bank special, we've got not one, not two, three special guests. Like always, we've got our Chief Thailand Officer and the guy who appropriately picked Bangkok for the Point Syndicate and for our debut meetup, which is our first international meetup, which is going to happen this week because we're recording right now in the second week of April. Aadil Dhimant ji, swagat hai.
Thank you so much, Aadil. I think I was telling somebody yesterday that once a year, these companies, corporates have this annual operating plan. So consider this to be the annual operating plan for credit card enthusiasts to think about Axis and their portfolio. Like a lot of people who follow us are like these corporate guys. So they will say, "Yaar, ये episode देखने दो, मेरा annual operating plan है इस साल का." So, and in the last few years, the amount of chatter around Axis Bank has increased so much. I mean, they've disrupted this space like anything. Right, so like very excited to be on the episode and as usual chat around with our guests.
वो सब ठीक है, लेकिन बैंकॉक को क्यों भूल गए?
मैं
मतलब कितने प्यार से स्वेप्ट इट अंडर द रग कि इसको हाँ उसको बोलने दो, मैं टच भी नहीं करूंगा उसको. लेकिन ये कहाँ से आता है दिमाग में कि हम बैंकॉक में इवेंट करेंगे, सोल्ड आउट भी हो जाता है, जा भी रहे हो, घर में परमिशन भी मिल रही है, कोई स्ट्रेस भी नहीं है, और अभी वो क्या बोलते हैं, लुक एट द स्माइल ऑन योर फेस.
So when Aadil called me the first time, he said, "Yaar, so we were planning our annual workshops, right? We call it the Miles Ahead workshop, and we were planning it. आदिल ने एक दिन सुबह को फ़ोन किया, संडे मॉर्निंग 9 बजे, वो उठा है 9 बजे, दैट्स अ ह्यूज थिंग, आई डोंट नो व्हाई, मतलब कुछ तो होगा. एंड ही कॉल्ड मी एंड ही सेड कि यार मीटअप करते हैं. बोला हाँ कर रहे हैं ना. तो बोला नहीं, इंटरनेशनल मीटअप करते हैं. एंड द नेक्स्ट थिंग दैट केम टू माई माइंड इज कि हाउ डू वी फाइंड अ प्लेस विच हैज़ गॉट समथिंग फॉर एवरीबडी इंक्लूडिंग मी, which is Thailand. So we chose Thailand. Then we had a choice between Phuket and Bangkok. And then like Bangkok has so much to do for everybody, including the foodies, including people who want to have a good time in the speakeasy bars. Some of the mind-blowing restaurants that they have, the cafes that they have. So we straight away went and locked Bangkok. So and we have free
इतने
time.
प्यार से जो जस्टिफिकेशन दिया है ना, मतलब इतने प्यार से क्यों बैंकॉक, असल रीजन यही है कुछ और है?
Just FYI, I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to discuss on this any further. Between all the sessions that we have planned there, we have 3-hour breaks for people to go and explore Thailand. That's free time. People can do whatever they want. They can chill out. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Awesome. So with that, we've got our guest today who's also coming to the Point Syndicate. Meet Sudeep. Sudeep has been on the pod. Sudeep has been on 2 of our podcast episodes already. He's done some epic redemptions. Last year, Sudeep did something quite spectacular. He did a redemption from Bangalore to Singapore on business class with his wife. And then he did Singapore to Auckland first class on the A380 with his wife again. Managed to snag not 1 but 2 seats, which is incredible. That was Group A. But wait, it gets better because then he also did Group B. And this is what you all should hear. He moved Axis Group B points to Qantas. And then he did Christchurch to Sydney. Believe it or not, Emirates first class, 2 seats on the A380. Now, you say Christchurch to Sydney? ये कैसे होता है? How does Emirates fly? Because Emirates will have to go back to Dubai. So there are something called Fifth Freedom flights where they don't fly back to the base, but they fly to 2 unique cities. And that's what he tapped into. But he didn't book via Emirates. He did those 2 first-class seats using Qantas miles. Normally, availability सिर्फ एक की दिखती है, लेकिन भाई ने मचाया, भाई ने एक business book किया, भाई ने एक first book किया, and then he went ahead and upgraded. Now, along with that, what he also did was, again, book Qantas from Sydney all the way to Bangalore. Again, that was Group B. So here's someone who has made the most of Group B points, and we'll discuss a lot of that today.
Yeah.
क्योंकि public काफी बोल रही है कि Accor devalue हो गया, Avios का ecosystem बंद हो गया, अभी Magnus का विनाश हो गया, whatever. Not true. There's so much that you can potentially tap into, and Sudeep's actually lived that. He's a staff engineer at Google. हमारा दोस्त है, हमारा भाई है. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for the great introduction, Aadil. हाँ, LinkedIn पे डालने लायक पोस्ट है ये तो. So yeah, the redemptions were crazy. It was our 10th anniversary, and I emailed Singapore Air and Qantas and Emirates well in advance. They made it truly special. They had cakes, they had champagne, they had decorations and everything for us. Yeah, this was the year of redemption for me. Let's see how it goes ahead this time now.
तो availability आजकल manually search कर रहे हो या क्लॉड कोड के एजेंट्स बना रखे हैं जो तुम्हारे लिए जाके चेक कर रहे हैं और ऑटोमेटिकली बुक भी कर रहे हैं?
गूगल के बंदे को क्लाउड कोड पूछ रहे हो?
नहीं कर सकते.
पता नहीं भाई क्या, you don't know what's under the hood, right?
So for availability, seats.aero ka the AI thing, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you don't have any complex itineraries, seats.aero, the AI tool it's good enough for you. Just buy the subscription and just create triggers and it'll let you know. So that works for me for now.
By the way, like one thing I noted about this, you said 10th anniversary, champagne, all that. Remember, this is a one-way street, bro. Like I'm just giving you practical advice. You just have to keep bettering it now. You can't go down.
I told my wife the next one is in the 25th anniversary. So
Oh man, that's not happening, bro.
नहीं होगी यार, ऐसा क्यों?
Have to keep raising the bar.
No, 15th को होगा ऐसे बोलते हैं.
15 में 11th आ रहा है भाई.
भाई 11th पे कुछ नहीं है.
What are you talking about? अभी तो 11th आ रहा है, 11th करना पड़ेगा.
अभी वो collection mode में वापस.
Cool. With that, we have our next guest. Our next guest is Sid. Sid has also been on the pod before. I call him the Flying Blue King because pretty much no one I've seen has optimized Flying Blue like the way he has. He's been on the pod earlier. He runs an AIF, which is a Cat 2 fund. He's also into manufacturing. He's also into defense. He's a Gen 3 entrepreneur. And with that, welcome to the show, Sid.
Thanks, Aadil. Thanks, Dhimant. Hey, Sudeep. Glad to be back. Obviously, circumstances have changed now. The only thing that remains constant is change, right? And what matters is improvising. So yes, flying blue to the rescue.
And he is one of those few guys जिसको मैं जब भी बात करता हूँ, he's always talking about like flying blue, not talking about Accor specifically. So you know when you want that break and refresh from the regular discussions of saying कि यार everything is looking gloomy like you said, like सिद्धार्थ से बात होते रहती है, like and he's always talking about some unique redemption ideas. वो अलग बात है कि कभी-कभी बीच में Amsterdam भी होता है, तो like interest level थोड़े बढ़ जाते हैं, but like that's something very refreshing, honestly.
In our terminology, I'd like to call them Group B Badshahs because both of them have really juiced it. As we speak, Sid in a couple of days is flying for his next international trip. And then on his way back, he is doing Amsterdam, Bangalore again in flying blue on business with him and his wife. Sid has a very, very interesting, I don't know if I should break this, but मैं बोल ही देता हूँ इसमें क्या है. So हम लोग जब बात करते हैं what type of redemptions and booking and all, Sid has a very interesting philosophy. He's a family of 4, where he says, whenever I'm traveling with kids, we will fly economy. But when I'm going with my wife, we will fly business. My kids are still kids. They are learning to come up. They don't deserve business yet. तो उनका टाइम आएगा, लेकिन अभी नहीं. अभी चुपचाप इकोनॉमी में आओ. जब मैं जाऊंगा वाइफ के साथ, I'm going to do business. You want to talk a little bit about that, Sid?
Absolutely.
But last time he spoke about it, and I'll tell you, whenever I see that Instagram reels, right, when you see these memes where the wife is sitting in the business class and husband is passing by, she's not looking at it. मेरे को वो वाला वीडियो याद आता है कि ये और इसकी वाइफ बैठे हुए business class में बच्चे से जा रहे हैं, I'm not seeing you.
Yeah, so as recently as a couple of weeks ago as well, we were flying to Delhi from Bangalore, and Air India, of course, to the rescue. And obviously, I booked business, but not for my kids. But I got only one business available, which I gave to my wife. And I was sitting in economy with my kids. We had a great time, to be honest. And what we have to realize is that let them see this side of the world as well, right? See what's there in store. Let them see what Group B is. Then we'll go to Group A, boss. वो बाद में देख लेंगे. First, let's have the entire experience.
Lead by example. मैं भी economy में बैठा हूँ.
Absolutely, 100%.
I think अगर ग्रुप सी होता ना, अपन ग्रुप सी भी लेते, पहले सी, फिर बी, फिर ए.
Please ये idea मत दो. Please ये idea मत दो.
Says someone who is Burgundy Private.
You had to bring that in. There's one more Burgundy Private.
I know.
आज इसको छोड़ दो. आज मेरे को छोड़ दो प्लीज.
थोड़ा बहुत तो चलता है यार. Cool. तो इसके साथ शुरुआत करते हैं. So the context of today's episode, like we said, is talking about Axis cards. The goal is to cover most major cards in the Axis ecosystem, where we'll talk about the Burgundy Private, because you've got Dhimant and Sid, who both have the Burgundy Private cards. We'll talk about Magnus Burgundy. I think all 4 of us have the Magnus Burgundy. We'll talk about Atlas. I think हम सबके पास Atlas भी है. Sudeep and me are stuck with the Vistara card also. I think it's emotional baggage that we are carrying, and we're not willing.
Flights तो cancel कर दी Bangalore से, but cards है हमारे पास.
There is that छोटी सी इच्छा कि अगर आशा कि अगर एयर इंडिया का कार्ड आ गया और ये कार्ड के साथ कुछ लिंक हो गया, you never know. It's a 1%, but well, 1%. And then there is this big question that everybody wants to answer. Boss, Horizon का क्या scene है? Right? Because everybody wants to know, is that a good card? Should I enter the Axis ecosystem via Horizon and gradually upgrade to better cards? And then there is another wild one in the mix, which is the X-City Prestige, which now got converted into Olympus. Uska kya scene hai? Because the limits of Group A and Group B are wild on that card. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And just to set context, what has happened is, if you've seen the news, Axis has removed Accor as transfer partner. Axis has removed Marriott Bonvoy as transfer partner. And Axis has removed Finnair as transfer partner, which pretty much removes the Avios ecosystem. Sure, they added British Airways. Conversion is 5:2, which means it really screws up the math. So what that means is, for Axis point holders, if we are into the Avios ecosystem, we have to look elsewhere. Otherwise, our ratios kind of get screwed up. So that's the context for today's episode. So इसके साथ शुरुआत करते हैं. Dhimant, will come to you. Why don't you take a stab at what this means for Burgundy Private? Then Sid will get your opinion. And as Sudeep will come to you and we'll jump into Magnus Burgundy. And I will keep going around the room and we'll discuss. But before that, We're just to introduce the space, if you like the kind of vibe we are bringing to you today. We are at Mila Homes. This is a very, very cool space and interior studio in HSR in Bangalore. So if you're looking to upgrade your homes or build a fantastic interior space, do come to Mila Homes in HSR and check this out. We have a very cool guy called Kusumesh who runs the space. He's part of our Discord community. He's part of our events. We will introduce him to you soon. So watch this space, keep watching the pod. With that, let's get started. Dhimant, shuruaat karo, Burgundy Private.
Cool. I think before I start on Burgundy Private, I just want to set some context. When we did the last annual operating plan, like I'm calling it, in 2025, again, Sudeep was on that episode, right? So for people who haven't seen that episode, it's not still a bad idea to look at that episode because it covered a lot of basics around Group A optimization, Group B optimization. And in fact, I remember very well that at that time, Group A, Group B ka वो cognitive load already आ चुका था. Like people had already seen कि oh, now I have to think it in a different way. That's why we felt the need of doing that episode. Now the problem is in the last 9 months, 8 months, 6 months, people have consistently optimized Group A and Group B, right? So Group B they have realized sweet spots, Group A they have realized sweet spots, and it almost felt like a crime not to transfer your Group A to Accor, right? So and suddenly the game changed, right? So as we know, a few weeks back, Axis announced that we are removing 3 partners. Obviously, it looks like a P&L pressure game. There are multiple stories. It doesn't matter like why they removed it, right? So they said that Accor is going, Qatar is going, and you're losing Marriott as well, right? I think Marriott, nobody really cared because Marriott ka sweetest redemption is always Amex. So that didn't hurt people as much. Also, as people know that you can always move to ITC consistently through Group B and then move to Marriott. So we'll cover that separately, but that's again a way out. Now Qatar and Accor are the 2 spots which have hurt people, right? So that's the context of why we felt the need of resetting this discussion, because I'm seeing again, like my problem has always been with doomsday scenarios, right? The reactions that I've seen from people are closing these cards left, right and center. Right? So I genuinely don't believe in doomsday scenarios. I genuinely have seen multiple cycles of devaluation in the last few years. And hence I feel that it's important to set context of people who are holding these cards, what they should do. Right? So with that, I think I'm going to talk about a card which is very close to my heart and Sid's heart, which is Burgundy Private. Right? So please chip in wherever required, Sid. I think this is the only card which has kind of survived some part of the devaluation, right? Because Accor, Qatar and Marriott are still gone, but you have British Airways, you have, which is still at 5:4 on Burgundy Private, right? That has gone to 5:2 with the other cards, right? With Magnus Burgundy especially. And Atlas ke liye, I think it's gone from 1:2 to straight 2:1. Like, which is crazy. I didn't understand why they skipped 1:1 completely.
Flipped it.
मतलब 1:1 क्यों नहीं किया? I didn't understand. Right?
If you calculate, that is actually a 75% cut
Exactly,
down.
exactly. For some reason, for the first few minutes, I felt कि किसी ने तो गलती ही कर दिया है. Like, and then I realized कि maybe there is just too much of a in between, way of getting Qatar. So maybe that's what they thought. So that's what they did. And Burgundy Private has survived this, right? So also, if you know, Burgundy Private has a 1 lakh higher Group A limit. Now, a lot of people feel it's not good enough, but just by pure Accor terms, it used to be 2 lakh worth difference, right? But if you look at it, 1,60,000 because it transferred as 5:4. But if you look at Qatar, for example, Avios ecosystem, I value my Avios easily at 4 rupees. Like, I've had those experiences, so I can say with confidence. मेरे लिए वो 4 लाख या 3-3.5 लाख का worth है, right? So I feel that there's a lot more to this card than it seems. Only thing is you need to understand whether you really can maximize this card and invest to get this card, right? So that's where I think the game is. So here are the changes. I'm just summarizing the changes. Burgundy Private remains unchanged for 5:2 change that happened to Magnus Burgundy. And the 3 partners that have gone, which is Accor, Marriott and which is the third one? Qatar. They are gone from Burgundy Private as well at this point. Now, we don't know if they will introduce them again, but there's a decent chance I feel that they may get introduced again. So just
summarize the basics of the card as well, right? How many
Perfect.
reward points, so that we
Perfect.
cover that as well.
Perfect. I think I'll talk about the sweet spots because the first sweet spot for this card is basically your earning rate, which is 6%. the exclusions are the same for all Axis cards, especially Atlas, Magnus Burgundy, Burgundy Private. So this card doesn't give you any sweet spots on specific exclusion categories, number one, to be noted. Second, the 6% earn rate also stays on 4x, which is very critical because it's also a 0-4x card. That's another sweet spot. The third sweet spot of this card is basically your redemption ratio, which is 5:4. So it gets the same redemption ratio as Magnus Burgundy. The fourth sweet spot of this card is the whole bit around memberships. So this card gets a free Accor Explorer membership, the full membership with 2 stay plus nights, not the one with like reserve, right? So Amex reserve.
You're talking about the full experience, which costs that 19,000.
19,500. Even if you value the offer that they give, easily 17,500, 16,500. Plus, like if you redeem the stay plus night like me, I think both the stay plus I've been able to redeem at 30,000 value.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So मेरे लिए I think the other night that I paid by revenue were 10-15,000 rupees. So the free night has easily given me 15-30,000 ka upstick. So I value that as easily 16,000 cost of the membership itself and 20-30,000 of stay plus nights, right? So that's how I calculate the goodness that comes out of it. Apart from that, it helps you towards that platinum status because I'm not paying anything extra to get the platinum status, right? So I think I have enough stays to cover the platinum status this year also. So that's my play. Uske alawa, I think another sweet spot that I like about the card is the guest access. I think if you remember some time back, Magnus Burgundy pe guest access on your priority pass had reduced. यहाँ पे भी reduce हुआ था, but still that number is significantly good. I think
12.
It's 12. Yeah, 12. I think which is
Burgundy is 8, right?
Burgundy is 8.
Yeah.
Burgundy, Magnus Burgundy. This Burgundy Private is 12.
Can I add
Yeah,
there,
please,
Dhimant? You also mentioned about the forex expense, right? Where it's 0-4x and the 6% earn rate. In addition to that, that is point A and point B, coming to that now, it also works wonderfully when you're withdrawing money from the ATM abroad.
Superb.
Zero cost.
Superb.
Basically, whatever the ATM charges are, I think 150, 200 bucks INR, you get that money. It's like literally a charge on your card, which you can pay off later. People, it's so underrated. You don't understand how much of an effort that you save. So some people want to carry cash from here. Some people go and exchange over there. It just negates all of that.
Yeah.
You can just go withdraw from
Yeah.
any ATM,
Yeah.
pay the 150, 200 bucks, and it's zero charges.
Let me add something to it to people understand. When you withdraw, first thing I do on any credit card is disable ATM withdrawal. In this card is the only card where I keep it on simply because when you withdraw from the ATM, not only are you don't have any charges extra, but till the time your bill gets generated, it's treated like an expense, which means that there is no interest. So आपको 50 दिन के लिए कोई तो free cash दे रहा है 4x पे. And second thing, underrated feature, if you're going to, like I am generally very scared when I go to foreign countries कि भाई कुछ घूम ना जाए, wallet घूम ना जाए, passport घूम ना जाए. I just carry this one card. There's chosen the name very smartly. It's also called the one card for that reason. So it replaces your debit card. So when I'm abroad, I only carry this one card with me. You are basically using it like a debit card also and a credit card also. I think there's a couple of other credit cards which have a similar feature, but I think nothing of this sort. Another last thing, like if I have to sum up this well, right? You will see a lot of reactions saying कि अरे क्या है यार इसके लिए मतलब ये तो मेरा ये भी कार्ड कर देता है. For example, I'll tell you one example of movies. Book my show. Like 500 रुपये मिलता है. Now Premier will give you 750 rupees. HSBC Premier. Right? You will say अरे यार ये तो इससे better है. Why a crore card is worse? But if you look at all the things put together as a package, I don't think any card has a package like that.
But one question for you, Dhimant. The Burgundy Private One card is supposed to be the cornerstone, the epitome of the Axis ecosystem, correct?
It's Primus. The epitome is Primus.
Of course.
But yeah, probably right up there.
Right.
Yeah.
Why is it that they don't have a couple of features like they have on the Reserve and the Olympus? For example, something simple what they removed recently as to the airport transfers. It doesn't exist on the Burgundy Private. That's something like, I don't really understand. It's like, they pick on points and they act like a cartel, and try and remove something that people are enjoying. To me, it comes across as something like that.
This is a brilliant point, and I want to take 2 minutes to explain this to people, right? Because like I was talking to another credit card company, a product manager very recently, very good friend of mine. I was talking to him and we were discussing the same topic. So see, as a credit card product manager, you need to see how they look at their P&L, right? One, they look at their ability to earn revenue from the same customer, right? And then they have a set of budget that they can spend on the card, put on the card. There are 2 things. One, they choose for you. Right? So they don't look at saying कि Sid क्या करता है, Dhimant क्या करता है. They look at the majority of the people and where they use the card. right? So they will try and invest the budget there, right? Which means that they have probably added a discount on airport transfer. By the way, I booked it once. So there was somebody really special coming from the airport. I wanted to gift them airport transfer.
ये कौन है really special?
यार मतलब छोड़ो. I'm glad Tashi knows this. Otherwise, she would have screwed me. Like so. You get a discount on the airport transfer. So even a book of Merck, BMW, so they thought about it. It's not like they don't understand this. But I feel that, for example, they would have invested a little more on, let's say, the guest access.
तो ये क्या हुआ? You were able to book for a guest?
Yes, so Extraordinary Experiences जो website था जहाँ से we used to book our free air.
But guest का नाम डाल के book कर सकते हैं?
Yes.
Legally allowed है?
It's
ऐसा
allowed
कोई
for
problem
anybody.
नहीं है?
Because it's a paid feature.
No, asking like because normally you only tend to think कि these are available for yourself, right? But you can book for a guest and it's completely
I
okay.
called up the helpline. I told them upfront कि भाई मैं किसी और के लिए book कर रहा हूँ. I'm gifting it to somebody, so I want to make sure. So they said, okay, we will give you the discounted rate. And 8,000 का था कुछ. They give me a 30% off.
30% discount is what they offer, yeah.
Which is a great discount. I feel 6,000 में getting a BMW from the airport, Bangalore airport to city is a great experience. Also, I did it because उस time पे it's a peak traffic hour. So you get more time to sit in the car, chillax, and that was the intention. The second thing I feel is that this opens a great door, an opportunity for banks to think about this budget smartly. Now imagine if you had an app of extraordinary experiences, and at the end of the beginning of the year, if Sid was given a choice that I can spend 10,000 rupees on you, but I'm making it flexi, I would love that. So for example, give me a choice of saying I can book one airport transfer or I can get 5 additional guests on my priority pass. I would happily choose it. Right?
It's almost like now BizBlack doing that, right? Where it's
Exactly.
saying, you choose this Accor thing or you choose something else.
Exactly. Regalia
Choose
ने भी
whatever you
किया. Regalia
want.
has done it. So HDFC Regalia just
अरे
introduced.
BizBlack में भी तो दिखा रहा है.
BizBlack I don't know. BizBlack.
So if you log into that
Oh, the
BizBlack
welcome
portal,
benefits.
welcome benefit.
Yeah.
So earlier you had only one benefit, right?
Yeah.
Now it's allowing you to choose whatever you want,
Yeah.
which is very cool, I think.
By the way, that's happening because Club Marriott is moving out. So they are transitioning it. Yeah. I don't think they've thought about it from a flexi lens.
Achha.
But maybe better example is the Regalia Gold chain that they've done, right? So you have 2 choices to make every quarter. You choose whatever benefit you want and almost like a Scapia playbook. कि भाई तुम्हारे पास flexi है, use it for airport, use it for food. I love that flexi thought.
And
right?
just for clarity, Club Marriott is not getting off HDFC or the BizBlack ecosystem. Club Marriott is closing
Exactly.
altogether.
Club Marriott is closing.
Yeah. Just for the audience, just to not get another shock of sorts, like one more devaluation.
So मेरा
एक minute, can we talk a little bit more about that? Club Marriott as an entire program is closing across South Asia.
It is.
Are they rebranding? Are they closing? Like, what's the verdict? What are we hearing?
So what's happened is, they have 2 programs now, right? One was the Club Marriott and the other is the...
Bonvoy.
Sorry?
Bonvoy, right?
The Bonvoy program
Yeah.
that they have. Now they're combining a few benefits of the Club Marriott, which is very underrated in my opinion, where you have like your 30%, you get those various vouchers,
Correct.
you get the upgrade nights.
Yeah.
So that they're trying to combine with the Bonvoy membership altogether. I think what makes sense to me right now is that they're going to come up with something rebranded as a one
100%.
entire thing
100%.
that they can offer a consumer.
So, just from an opportunity lens, Sid, because this is going to close and this is going to go away, if you have potential stays in South Asia in a particular city, does it make sense to latch on to that right now? Because it's going to go away. Because one of the things that I do potentially is before burning my points, whenever I'm going anywhere in Asia, I will check if there is Club Marriott in that particular hotel. If it is there, I'll check the price. And if it makes sense, I'll just go buy it. And before buying, I'll check with the rep. Saying that, boss, I want to buy this, but you tell me if the free night is applicable on this date, it's available on this date. The moment they confirm, yes, it's available, I'm like, I'm buying it on the condition that you're booking it for me right now. So, yes, sir, I'll do it for you. You go and buy it, so then your investment is protected at, let's say, anywhere between 12,000 rupees to 30,000 rupees. And you're getting something like a GW Marriott, 2 nights, and then you get a ton of like free lunch vouchers, dinner vouchers, spa vouchers, 50% discount, members day benefits, all of that. But you know your maximum outgo is X. And then you can combine it with your status and all of that, and it really kind of helps you. So from an opportunistic lens, and I'd love to get all 3 thoughts, but maybe start with you, Sid. Does it make sense to buy or does it make sense to hold? Maybe Club Marriott gets rebranded even better.
So, Aadil, the example you gave, very specific. It makes a lot of sense for something like that. For example, you call them and check. You have a redemption in mind. You have a booking that you have to make.
Yeah, very specific, yeah.
It makes sense completely if it's specific to that. So I did this when I went to Japan, for example.
Yeah.
But I did They have the other
You went to
program.
the Sheraton?
Correct. I did the
Yeah.
Sheraton.
Yeah.
It was a great experience. It was an amazing hotel.
It was at Tokyo Bay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Sheraton
okay.
Tokyo Bay.
Got it, yeah.
So I would never have stayed over there, for example, if my kids weren't there. So it gave me this opportunity to go. And if I have something specific in mind, why not? It works out well, do it. But in general, if you think that this is going to go, should I just buy it speculatively and think that
Not
it's going to come?
speculatively, only if you have plans.
I don't think it's worth it. If you have something specific, call them, ask them. If it works out for you, you're getting your end. So something like you just mentioned, right? You can recover the entire cost in your first stay. So it's a no-brainer, all right? Having said that, Marriott is one part of it. In Southeast Asia, you have various options. You have a better return on spend, like you mentioned in one of your reels. The return on spend is so much better in other opportunities that exist in Southeast Asia
100%.
specifically. So unless it's something very specific, like you mentioned, I don't think it's something to think about.
But this brings up to a very, it brings up a very unique question in my mind, right? Because this is another issue why I have kind of consistently called it out. These programs like Club Marriott, for example, एक तो पहले से ही customers को features समझते नहीं है. Like it's very hard because it requires significant marketing budget from the brand to explain features. So they've left it to the hotel to explain it to the customers when they come to buy. Second problem is the whole credit card ecosystem. They have multiple variants, right? किसी के साथ free night मिलता है, किसी के साथ नहीं मिलता. And this is not an issue with only Club Marriott. There's also an issue with Accor Explorer Plus. Now every time somebody gets an Amex Reserve card, they're always like, मेरे को तो 30 night मिलेगा, मेरे को तो 2 stay plus मिलेगा. This is the most commonly asked question in our Discord all the time. Like, I genuinely feel that the brands who kind of run these programs should understand the kind of people they're selling these cards to. They don't have the time to invest so much of time and energy. Customize it, standardize it, and make sure that people get the right message. Honestly, I mean, 90% of the people don't even know the difference between Club Marriott and Bonvoy. I'm sorry to say this. They don't understand the difference, right? उनके लिए Marriott है और उनको नहीं पता कि मेरे पास Marriott membership भी है. So I think that this whole idea of what you are saying, combining them together, making one entity. I think there is something called the Marriott Vacation Club also.
It is an excellent program.
अरे भाई,
I've used it. I'm telling you, super underrated.
I remember that call from you.
Values kick ass.
I remember that call from you. Called me and said कि boss मेरा एक night तो उससे sorted है.
मेरे को पहले तो लगा scam है. Because somebody called me and they told you I'm calling you on behalf of Marriott Vacation Club. Whenever they say behalf, right? I'm like, are you calling from Marriott Vacation Club? Are you a partner agency that works for Vacation Club? No, sir. I'm a partner agency for Vacation Club. Achha, what's the deal? The deal is $219, which is how much? Like some maybe 20,000 rupees now. But when I went, the currency conversion was much lower. So perhaps maybe a 16,000 at max. $219. We will give you 3 nights in Bali Renaissance Nusa Dua. Okay. We will include breakfast. This is going to be a suite with a private pool. यार 16,000 में तुम 3 रात दे रहे हो, with breakfast दे रहे हो, private pool in a suite. How is that mathematically possible? मेरे को लगा genuinely scam है. Then I went and checked. It was authentic. I asked them to send a formal email. They sent it. Then I asked them for dates and availability. I spoke to the hotel directly. They confirmed कि हाँ sir legit है. Still had a feeling कि how is this possible? And I booked it. यार 16,000 रुपये में crazy value यार बाली में. Like 3 nights. तुम value देखो 5,000 रुपया हो गया with breakfast. 5,500 रुपया breakfast, taxes and a suite. It felt unreal to me. So I feel like it is crazy value.
Aadil, just to pitch in, the Sheraton Bay at Maya in Tokyo, it was through Vacation Club itself.
Yeah,
so it cost me 3 nights with breakfast, $28,000 odd.
Look at that.
That's what I'm saying.
Like 9,000 rupees a night in Japan with breakfast.
But again,
Don't forget the 10% back on Atlas.
Bro, but coming back to the point that I was trying to say is कि boss, how do you make sure that then you say कि यार only 1% of people are using it and maximizing it? Obviously, because you don't have genuine customers even understanding it.
No, I think here it's on us as consumers to figure out कि करना क्या है ये सब.
I disagree. I fully disagree.
No, like for me it is like
Aadil,
I have to know where I'm going to holiday, where I'm going to spend my money, and how I'm going to get maximum bang for my buck.
नहीं Aadil, think about it. You are a customer. ठीक है? Leave this room out. ठीक है, आप और 4 लोगों को बिठाओ यहाँ पे, उनको ये डिफरेंस नहीं पता तीनों के बारे में. हाउ डू यू एक्सपेक्ट पीपल टू नो ऑल दिस? देयर इज नॉट इनफ कंटेंट अवेलेबल, देयर इज नॉट इनफ मटेरियल अवेलेबल, एंड पीपल डोंट जेन्युइनली गो एंड सर्च सो मच. सो आई एम सेइंग, मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि एक प्रोग्राम रखो, अम्ब्रेला को क्लीन करो थोड़ा सा, एंड आई एम सेइंग मे बी दे आर थिंकिंग अबाउट इट दैट वे, राइट? सो आई एक्चुअली लव द होल आइडिया ऑफ Accor bringing Accor Explorer Plus as a single product. अभी भी there is more to do for them, but they've done it very nicely. भाई कि traveler हटा दो, explorer हटा दो, make it simple यार. If I have to explain to somebody कि boss, there is one program I should get invest in, give me that and I'll buy it.
I agree with you. I agree with Dhimant. But coming to the point of, let's address the big elephant in the room, right? What Axis has done now. See, we've been through so many phases of devaluations, the 25,000, the Group A, Group B, the Marks and Spencer's 40x, that was also legendary. But this, I feel, removing Accor, see Marriott and of course Qatar also to an extent, but removing Accor, this is brutal, man. It's absolutely brutal. And there are a lot of people saying that, yes, okay, you know, it's your thing to, you have to improvise. We have no choice right now. The thing is, I feel, as Dhimant predicted the last time we were here, he said they're definitely going to devalue Magnus Burgundy. It's not sustainable, boss, that after 150,000, you know, your earn rate is, it triples. This, they've not only devalued Access Magnus Burgundy, they've devalued the entire ecosystem of Access altogether. People always used to peg what their earn rate, their reward rate was to Accor, because Accor had a simple, there was no dynamic pricing. You knew the value of an Accor point was so much and so on and so forth. Of course, the hotel rates kept changing, but you knew what value the Accor point was holding. So this is brutal, no two ways about it. Well, we are here, we are in this situation. Life must go on, the show must go on. How do you improvise? Aadil.
but one last thing I want to be clear here, because this is not a sponsored episode, we have to clarify this. Is Burgundy Private better than Magnus Burgundy? Still, it's not. I'm just being very honest, right? And I'll tell you why. A good premium credit card, a super premium credit card is made by 3 things. Earning rate, burning rate, and the whole point around what miles partners you have. In the burn rate and in the miles partners you have, today Burgundy Private wins handsomely. But when you can earn at 14%, I am not going to earn at 6%. Right?
इसमें एक बात बताओ, ट्रैवलेज का क्या सीन है? ट्रैवलेज में 30% मिलता है?
नहीं मिलता. You don't have AEP, you don't have travelage 24%.
So Burgundy Private पे
no
travelage नहीं है. You don't get 5x.
No. Have you heard about that business strategy called everyday low pricing? Similar to that, what Burgundy Private does is it gives you best points when you do everyday spends. Correct. It is not a card for you to, because I think that's
not a maximizer card.
Because the people who use it are the guys who just swipe the card. They're not those guys who are nerdy, like wo hum karte hai, but not everybody does that. So I think they've spread it out saying ki, okay, the difference of the base earn rate, 1.2%. If you are a 1 crore spender, it's huge, that 1.2% also. But unfortunately still doesn't beat you having 4 months of AEP.
Here's the thing, right, Dhimant? Let's assume someone doesn't have the Magnus Burgundy today. If you can get the Burgundy Private, if you can get onto that bandwagon, even getting the regular Magnus card makes total sense. First of all, it costs like 12,000 bucks. Secondly, the earning is the same as the Magnus Burgundy. Your transfer partners, because you have the Burgundy Private, remain 5:4. And hands down, it's better than the Burgundy Private. Why? Because for high spenders, over and above 1.5 lakhs, it's like a no-brainer.
But I'm not sure if they're giving both the cards now. Magnus Burgundy or Burgundy Private nahi de rahe. I mean, a lot of people have it, but they're not giving it anymore.
Of course they're giving it. I've got one.
हाँ, exactly. मतलब वो दे रहे हैं selectively, but it's not like they first will push you to say कि भाई you can keep only one. And if that choice is there in your kitty, you'll obviously choose Magnus Burgundy or Burgundy Private. If you are a spender who has 3-4 months of AEP, it makes no sense to choose Burgundy Private. But if they give you both, or if you are getting both, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Cool. So now let's come. So we've covered Burgundy Private. Great segue and transition to Burgundy. And I want to bring in Sudeep here, simply because of his strategy last year. अब सब लोग बोल रहे हैं यार devalue हो गया. क्यों devalue हो गया? Qatar गया. You have Accor gone and Marriott gone. If you look at Sudeep's strategy last year, I'm not even talking about this year, he architected it beautifully. His was a mix of Group A and Group B. What did he do? He moved his entire Group A to KrisFlyer. He moved his wife's Group A also to KrisFlyer. KrisFlyer pe he did one way from Bangalore all the way to Singapore in a separate PNR. And then from Singapore to Auckland on a separate PNR. So he did 2 different aircraft, A350, A380. He did here business saver. There he did first saver and first advantage क्योंकि 2 first saver मिलना long leg पे बहुत मुश्किल है.
Correct.
Okay? So it was a beautiful combination. Perfect. So this was one. So this is how you max out your group A. There is no play of Accor here. So we will talk about value, and that's where I want to bring you here, and we'll go into the technical details of how much and all of that. But then now you have to understand the strategy that he used for Group B. Now when he was coming back, he said, I don't want to fly the same aircraft again. Now I want to experience Emirates first class. Emirates first class कैसे करें? Figure out a way कि Christchurch से Sydney, Emirates flies the 5th Freedom route. There he booked using Qantas. And that is where he used Group B, which is magical. और फिर वहाँ से ही सर अब Qantas का भी business class use करते हैं. So again, there was a very different aircraft that came back here. यहाँ पे there is no Avios, there is no Accor, there is no Marriott, but the value he got is wild. And when you were talking about your 4 rupees ka value, I think this is close to that. So Sudeep, let's break down first the technical details of this redemption. Okay. I know you are known to book stuff out 8 to 9 months in advance. It was your 10th year anniversary.
360 days in advance.
हाँ, it was your 10th year anniversary. तो ये करना ही था. Let's talk about these redemptions. Let's talk about how you did it. Let's talk about all the mile specific details. उसके बाद ये बताओ ये साल क्या कर रहे हो?
I think, yeah, just one small addition. If you can break down once the redemptions you're done, कि आपने last year because you went with the strategy in mind. We spoke about it in the last episode कि मेरा ये strategy है. Like it will great to break down that now with this change, how does the strategy change, especially with Avios, for example, right? Yeah. And how do you go maximize access?
So I'll talk about the last year's booking. So we booked last year around March or towards the end of Feb, 360 days out, basically at 5:30 a.m. Because I know Singapore Airlines open up their seats at 8 a.m. Singapore time, which is 5:30 a.m. India time. And what I did was I was playing around on the Singapore website and with the customer care around 1 week before I wanted to book. Practice. So I was making sure everything is seamless, everything is written in Excel sheet, कि इतना miles transfer करना है, इस date को खुलेगा, and everything was recorded, alarms were set 15 मिनट पहले का, कि उस दिन कुछ गड़बड़ नहीं होना चाहिए. We got up on time. I woke my wife up कि चलो book करना है because she also had points in her account, I had points in my account. We had to book separately and everything. We both opened our laptops, फटाफट सब book किया. We knew exactly how much miles we need. We knew exactly the dates we wanted to fly. So Singapore Air was done that way. And this also meant we were out of Group A quota. And since it was our 10th anniversary, and New Zealand is one place where it's fun to stay in Airbnbs as well. You don't want to stay in hotels all the time. You can, but it's equally fun to stay in Airbnbs. You can enjoy a lot. So we knew that कि hotel नहीं करेंगे तो भी चलेगा. We can try to use flights from Group B. So we did that. For this, actually, I kind of knew about Qantas and Emirates since a long time because whenever you go to Dubai, the same terminal where you see Emirates, which is not allowed to any other aircraft but Qantas. So they have a deep partnership always. And then I knew that Qantas ke app pe you can book Emirates. So read about that as well. And given that a return is almost 15, 16 days after our onward, so we knew we have 15 more days to figure out and finalize the whole strategy. Now it has been devalued in a way that you need Qantas Silver at least to book Emirates first, but that time it was not there.
अब Qantas Gold चाहिए first के लिए.
Qantas Gold चाहिए.
Qantas
Okay.
Gold चाहिए.
Qantas and JAL, you can't book from JAL also. Like,
जल से business book कर सकते हैं. First में.
First नहीं कर सकते.
which is I think a fair change यार. मतलब
That's
you want
okay
to
यार.
protect your
लेकिन
seats,
जल पे business भी crazy है यार. धीमंत 80K में हो जाता है Bangalore to San Francisco.
आते उसके ऊपर. I have that question for you. I want to break that down.
So, that was the whole strategy. We moved points to Qantas. It takes what 5, 6, 7 hours from Axis. Group B में जमा हो गए थे, खाली किया, and then booked from. And we figured out it is one of the shortest Emirates flights, first class that you can take. 3.5 hours. It's very less. You cannot enjoy the first class.
No, but you still get the feel,
You
right?
get the feel, and it makes you crave for more. So there is a very, very cool Jennifer Aniston ad. Which was
yes.
Can you turn around.
She has a nightmare.
She has a nightmare. And मैंने उसको यही बोला कि मैंने कहा यार ये थोड़ा आप लंबा कर सकते हो क्या फ्लाइट को, because we are about to land यार खाना खत्म नहीं हो पा रहा है यार अब तो. But yeah, they made it really special. I mean, I cannot forget the moment. They made super
तो
special.
बताओ क्या special किया? Talk a little bit about that, because I'm sure like people who are watching the pod,
Yeah.
life is all about moments.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
were able to create this moment for your
Yeah,
wife.
yeah.
It took a lot of crazy effort.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
also said कि you sent an email to all of these
Yeah,
people कि मेरा
yeah.
10th है,
Yeah.
you want to make it special.
Okay.
You also spoke about, and I want to get into the details. So पहले let's talk about your Singapore leg,
Yeah, sure.
where you were flying first from Singapore all the way to Auckland.
Auckland, yeah.
You didn't have two seats together.
I didn't have two seats together. Let me
And
tell
then
you
you did something
Yeah.
and figured out a way to
Yeah.
sit together, because
Yeah.
you can join, and
Yes.
that's what makes it special.
So I'll tell you what
Let's talk
happened.
about
Bangalore, Singapore was a regular business class flight. We didn't do anything. We were in
it.
fact
A350,
A350
still a great cabin.
737 था because of they run a 737 in the morning. They run the
अच्छा.
A350 in the night one, I think.
हाँ,
So
okay.
I said okay चलेगा कोई
चलेगा,
problem
हाँ.
नहीं है. We were seated 3 rows apart. मैंने कहा चलो कोई
कुछ
बात
पाने
नहीं.
के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता
पाने
है.
के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है kind of
नहीं
thing.
नहीं वो शाहरुख खान का डायलॉग है ना, हार के जीतने वाले को बाजी.
बहुत डायरेक्ट शाहरुख खान के बड़ी बड़ी देशों में छोटी छोटी चीजें होती रहती है.
No, but this is really the one, right? Here to Singapore is okay, but what was coming, which is not this particular leg, but the leg from Singapore to Auckland first class, or the lounge experience in the Singapore first class lounge, which is the private room, और उसके बाद Emirates.
So what happened was there is something called a northern winter schedule and a northern summer schedule. It's basically when there's a winter in northern hemisphere. Singapore Air flies a different aircraft to Auckland, and when it's summer
Yeah.
in southern hemisphere. So when it's summer in southern hemisphere, around June or July every year, they change the aircraft, they release the dates and everything. And I knew that because it's published on a website. You can go and take a look. 2025 May, when did they change? So I knew when I wanted to go in 2026, they'll fly the A380. And when I was booking the ticket in 2025, they were not showing A380. They were showing a B777,
Correct.
which is an older aircraft. Singapore Airways, the service is impeccable. The aircraft was old. I know it will change. And what I did was I booked two seats. They were together at that time. Now, 4 seats of first class, they sold out in first class on B777. June, July, May, sometime around that time, they switched the aircraft. So 4 seats, they had to shift around in A380. What they did was they gave me and my wife 2 cross seats and the other person 2 cross seats. So now we cannot join our suites.
Correct.
तो अभी क्या करने का? Email किया, बोलते sir, there are other guests, we really cannot do anything. And I think they didn't care. For some reason, I knew why they didn't care when I reached the aircraft. But anyway, Singapore पहुंचे, private room में, I asked the concierge over there, sir, we cannot ask the guests, it doesn't look good. And I think the guests were not in the lounge, they were in some other lounge or somewhere else. मैंने कहा ठीक है, चलो कोई बात नहीं, first class तो है. We reached the boarding gate. The lady over there asked us that you are a couple, right? I said, yeah. You should be in the same suite. Yeah. You should be in the double bed suite. I said, yeah. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. Bully, how will it not work out? Let me do something about it. She called up the cabin crew inside. The other 2 guests were already there. They swapped the whole first class cabin. They said, sir, please go ahead. Your cabin is ready for you.
No, this is
ready
super
for you."
underrated because
Yeah.
I feel that a lot of people get too over nervous at the beginning itself.
Yeah.
Kafi bar, you need to understand this. The team which talks to you on the call, the team at the check-in counter, the team in the
Yeah.
aircraft, they don't talk to each other as much as
Yeah.
we think they do.
Yeah.
It's not like such an integrated operation. So the team in the cabin, especially the business in the first cabin, they know exactly what
They are
you
well
want. They are
experienced,
very
they
experienced.
know
यार.
who
मतलब,
you are talking
हाँ, मतलब
to
if you're unlucky, you get a new trainee or whatever,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that can happen,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
I mean, I was on that inaugurating the A350 जो अपना domestic flight हुआ था Air India का, right? And that guy was like, dude, you come here for the experience, right? Let me give you a seat which will get you the true experience. So those guys manage it themselves.
Yeah. But Singapore Airlines, they have a standard package. They know people come here, they do celebrations. So they said, कि sir, आपको एक celebratory ये मिलेगा, nothing else. So मैंने कहा चल ठीक है. And it was the overnight flight, not the morning flight. Right. So yeah, it's 11:30 p.m. or 12 a.m. midnight from Singapore. It lands around 10ish in Auckland. So yeah, Singapore Air mein the thing was the suites and not the celebratory part.
What I want to do is really summarize Sudeep's genius strategy here, because I think there are layers to it. Layer one, you got to split your transfer strategy to Group A and Group B partners specifically for the vacation that you're eyeing. Second strategy is, now he beautifully architected. A lot of people comment and reach out to us saying कि यार Bangalore to Auckland नहीं मिल रहा है. It is hard to get those seats, you have to understand. But what Sudeep just embraced it. नहीं मिल रहा तो नहीं मिल रहा है. Split करते हैं ना. Let's go from here to Singapore और वहाँ से we will split. So one is he split it and then he said, I want two unique experiences. I want an experience on a 737. I want an experience on an A380. He figured that out. He got those seats. The second thing that he also did is he booked one first class because one first class was available on Saver. That Saver cost you 90K, right? 90K
yeah.
KrisFlyer. But then you also booked one advantage on 150.
Yeah.
क्योंकि यार नहीं मिल रहा तो क्या करें?
Singapore Air does not release to Saver on first class.
थोड़ा expensive है, but 10th year anniversary है. Doesn't matter. Miles जमा करके क्या करूँगा यार? Eventually, miles also devalue, and Singapore did devalue after that.
Did value.
But you scored it a year in advance and you made it happen.
Yeah.
I think that was the first experience, right? The second thing which you talked about, which I think everybody should know, is beautiful. Now, most people, as soon as they search for that, they will see this is first class, but this is a Boeing 777. This is not the A380. Meaning, I'm not going to get the Singapore Airlines first class suites. First class suites mein configuration kya hai? There are 3 suites on the left side, there are 3 suites on the right side. There are 6 seats only. And by virtue of that, the space is crazy. You're typically getting your 1 BHK in the sky. But if you're flying the Boeing 777 first class, then it's a 1-2-1 configuration, which means there are 8 seats. It's 1-2-1, 1-2-1. अब इसमें क्या होता है? You got 2 seats together. आपने book कर लिया. But why you were so confident is you have run a historic search and you figured out that equipment change happens based on seasons. And you had data from the last 2 years to prove कि ये guarantee change होगा. And like we say in the world of investing, my downside is protected. What's my downside? What's the worst that can happen? I will still fly the Singapore Airlines first class. I have it together with my wife. And if I have it together, we will still stick together and it will be special. Now, agar wo nahi hua and the equipment changes, I will fly the first class suites. What's the downside here? I will probably not sit with her because the seats can get assigned randomly. Then it is the risk for me in the air to figure out if I can join these. But theek hai, it's an experience in the sky and you can still invite her to sit in your cabin because there's a bed and there's a seat. And both of you can sit and lunch together, dine together, enjoy together, see a movie together, champagne, toast together, all of that, right? So I think just the effort to put in the research, figure out कि ये कर लेते हैं, and this is how my downside and upsides are protected. I think that was the genius of your plan, which is very important for viewers to know. अब आते हैं आपके एमिरेट्स के ऊपर.
अब आते हैं आपके एमिरेट्स के ऊपर.
अरे जिसका भी एमिरेट्स है बताओ यार.
So while coming back again, I didn't plan for a first class or I didn't plan for anything. I definitely wanted to try business क्योंकि सिडनी और क्राइस्टचर्च आप कहाँ से भी निकलो, it's almost 11, 12, 13 hours flight. So I thought चलो business मिल जाए अच्छा रहेगा. I was trying various combinations and we were in the South Island, so we wanted to fly out from Christchurch. So you can take multiple options. Christchurch is not a well-served airport. It's a very far away city in the world. So it's only I think there's a Cathay, there's an Emirates via Sydney, and I think there's a Singapore Air. There are 3 to 4 carriers that you can pick from Christchurch so that you can reach Bangalore with one stop. So that was given. Now Group A तो खत्म हो गया. अभी बचा Group B. So I was thinking, चलो Group B है, तो we or if you have enough Amex, you can always fly from Cathay. I didn't have that much Amex. So I was thinking कि Christchurch to Sydney will take a domestic, sorry, not a domestic, but a economy, Jetstar or whatever they fly. And then from Sydney to Bangalore, we'll do the Group B pay business class. Then I saw, when we go to flight connections and all, then I saw there is a Fifth Freedom Emirates from Christchurch to Sydney. It's a 3-hour flight, 3.5 hour flight. Not worth the time that you want to spend because you really want to spend 7 hours, 8 hours in first class. Where I thought I will never get a chance to book first class. But I saw ki it's a route that no one takes. There was just 4 of us. And there were, I think, 4 into 8, some 30 odd first class seats on that aircraft. 30 or 28, whatever the standard A380 first class. I think there are 4 rows or 3 rows.
First class suites will be
3 rows of 4 each.
A380 में
हाँ, या 4 rows of 4 each. Sorry,
ज़्यादा होता है।
16 होते हैं, 16 या 12.
rows होंगे
हाँ, 6 rows
6 rows होंगे into 4
into 4, 24 seats. 24 seats, sorry, yeah.
और बिजनेस में 68 होंगे
हाँ, so 24 seats में सिर्फ 4 लोग जा रहे हैं. एंड फ्रॉम क्राइस्टचर्च टू सिडनी आई न्यू सीट्स तो मिल जाएंगी. तो पहले तो मुझे एक ही फर्स्ट क्लास मिली. आई थॉट चलो ठीक है, आई बुक फर्स्ट क्लास फॉर माई वाइफ एंड आई टुक वन बिजनेस फॉर मी. And then I kept on checking because after a certain time, after a few years into this, you realize कि seats एक ही दिन नहीं खुलती है, seats open in batches.
What is the tax component on this? This flight?
This flight, so the first class, so basically I don't have a breakup because I booked Christchurch to Sydney to Bangalore with a stopover in Sydney.
And what was the total taxes?
Total taxes were around 17,000.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
points भी बता दो.
Points were 160k.
160K
Christchurch to
per
Bangalore,
person.
to Bangalore.
Not bad.
With a stopover.
Hang on. So Christchurch to Sydney on Emirates first class.
Yes.
And from Sydney to Bangalore on Qantas business class. The total Qantas miles 160k.
Yeah.
From Group B Axis Magnus
Group B
Burgundy.
Axis Burgundy.
And the taxes was how much?
Taxes was 17,000, 16,000. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Exactly.
Yes, ridiculously cheap.
I'm saying अगर Qantas to Bangalore का redemption average भी था, which I'm assuming Qantas का product is not that great. I'm saying it's still worth it, man. I'll do it. I'll do
The
it.
only thing it's
I'll
a
do it.
dated aircraft in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's okay.
I'll
But
do
it's
it.
a business class.
Exactly.
I'll tell you
No,
why.
I think even from a soft product, it's not that great. But I'm saying it's
soft product बहुत अच्छा है उसका.
really?
बहुत. The staff, उनकी चेहरे की smile.
Wow.
Like guy is completely smiling through a 11-hour flight.
crazy.
And अगर सिडनी से बैंगलोर आना है, and there's a direct flight.
Yeah,
Don't take a stopover.
Yeah, man.
Unless you're taking a Singapore Air first class. अगर बिजनेस में आना है तो भाई आप चुपचाप Qantas में आ जाओ. There's no point taking a stopover in Qantas.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking right now, right? Let's get back to what you were talking about, right? Which is the access cards. If you think about the redemption that you did, even if you were able to do, let's say, part of it today, right? There is enough and more value hidden in the airlines ecosystem. That's my only takeaway. I think, I mean, knowingly or unknowingly, these banks are pushing us further to get deeper, to understand the ecosystem better, and this will only get better. And again, I feel we are at the cusp of what we say that you tasted redemptions. You now say, okay, मुझे अब थोड़ी मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. But if I have tasted what I have seen in the first year, I know that it's totally worth it because those experiences. Yeah, imagine that guy who has done a Raffles Udaipur with points, right? उसको पता है कि भाई मेरे को फाइट लगी होगी कलेक्ट करने में. शायद Accor is very easy, right? But if you know the memory that you built for yourself, you know कि यार this what he's talking about is going to build another memory for the rest of. I don't mind spending 5 hours, 2 hours researching for this.
But here's the thing, right, Dhimant? What happens is we have multiple options available. Group A, Group B. Group A has now become literally a Star Alliance group with United and Air France, Air Canada, which is a great. Aeroplan is a great.
Flyer also.
KrisFlyer, I'm coming to that. Aeroplan is so dynamic and so versatile. Highest number of bookings allowed in terms of partner airlines. So that's been great. Group B, you have your Flying Blue, you have Qantas. It's never been a problem for, booking
And
flights.
Maharaja Club now.
Of course. What I'm trying to say is, the point I'm trying to make is, it's never been a problem in terms of aircrafts. We've always had these multiple options, be it Group A or Group B. The problem arises because Accor is now no longer in the picture. Marriott was never too important for access in terms of Group A, Group B, because we had other transfer partners. If you're on the HDFC ecosystem, we have options, we have it on Amex. Here, it entirely, disintegrates the system of your hotel stays. Because now you don't have an international hotel brand, which you can transfer to. you always had these aircraft, these airlines which you can transfer to, book your business class. See, there are two types of travelers, right? One is you want to reduce your out-of-pocket expenses, be it economy, business, whatever's most value at that point in time you feel. Second is, okay, like how Sudeep said and what he has done, I want to experience this, those moments.
The bucket lists.
Yeah, the bucket list sort of things. But there are people, like for me, for example, if we are traveling in a family of 4, I am not going to, of course, I will try and get business class seats and economy seats, but I will try and maximize my value because I know this is not going to be the last, trip that I'm going to do. There are so many things planned out. Here, what happens is now it completely changes the game because, like Sudeep mentioned earlier on, you're going to again have to go back to the old Airbnb system because Accor was so widely spread, especially for me, for someone like me, I love traveling to Europe. If not twice a year, at least once a year. Now that whole system is going to be changed for me. I have to depend on Airbnb, if not Marriott. Accor was a huge, sort of a link in this entire chain.
Accor was, in a way, the card is still the same, what it was. Accor was a thing that upped the game.
But but I'll tell you, let's move from being a prosecution lawyer to a defense lawyer. I'll tell you what the real problem is. And let's be very honest here, right? The reason why Accor works, and again, we have to be practical here. We can speak about these redemption stories for the rest of our lives. But the thing is, for somebody to be able to redeem Accor, it is so simple. आपको ₹2 की guaranteed value मिल रही है. अभी तो 2.1 भी पहुंच गया था बीच में. It's so easy. One problem, right? Which means that the amount of effort that you have to put to get ₹3, is there ₹3, ₹4 value available still? Yes, the answer is yes. Will it be requiring more effort? 100% yes. Now let me break this down and say कि आपको अगर ₹3, ₹4 value was the problem for which you are closing the card, don't, because there is enough value available, right? Now the second problem. One, business class has limited number of seats. Accor doesn't. That's number one problem. Second, if you have a bigger family, it's more difficult for business class. He fortunately doesn't have that problem today because he has two people, right? Now you, for example, fly two children in economy. आपके लिए वो problem नहीं है. But if somebody wants to experience this 4 in business, it's very, very hard. बहुत मुश्किल है. And hotels में another advantage is that everybody stays in the same room. So yeah, कोई कोटा की बात ही नहीं होती है, right? So that's the second thing. Now let me break down how I think about it. You said hotels are gone from Accor. I'll tell you a different way of thinking about this strategy, right? One, I am going to now say कि अगर मुझे Axis is my major spending pattern, I am going to consistently use the ITC to Accor, ITC to Marriott option every month, every quarter, religiously. If I do not have Amex, okay? So that solves part of the problem. दूसरा part of the problem, if I have the Magnus Burgundy, like because we are talking about the Magnus Burgundy, don't worry about Accor because there is still a way to get Accor, which is basically saying आप जल पे ट्रांसफर करो, जल पे आप 5:2 से Accor पे डाल दो. जल to Accor is 5:2. You are still earning at 7%. Remember, this is better than Magnus Burgundy Private. Why would you not do that? And then you multiply it again by 2 because the value is 2.1 rupees. So you're still solving that problem of Accor and Marriott if you want to. There is enough and more meat available even in that sense. Now, one very, very strong recommendation, if you decide to take his strategy and not the one that I am saying कि भाई मुझे hotels के लिए use करना है. 3 things. Do not make speculative transfers to airlines. वो मतलब एक standard problem है. Secondly, always remember that be ready for flexi dates. If you are somebody who doesn't have flexi dates, आप ये option के साथ नहीं जा सकते. तीसरा, if you are somebody with a family and still wants to go that route, please be ready to break your PNRs. Please be ready to sit one person of your family in economy. Take the risks that he takes. If not, go with the other plan. Like that's at least my recommendation.
Yeah, I think that's summarized well. So I think let's summarize your second part of the trip. One of the important things to make the audience understand is what Sudeep did beautifully is he understood the concept of fifth freedom flights. Now, typically what happens is, let's say if there is Singapore Airlines, please understand that Singapore Airlines flies to any and every part of the world only from Singapore. And it will come back only from Singapore. So for example, if you're going to New York, it will be Singapore, New York, New York, Singapore. Similarly, in this case, Emirates will do Auckland, Dubai, Dubai, Auckland. But in a certain unique cases, they have these flights where they can go from Auckland to, Christchurch to Sydney, not via Dubai, but direct. There's similarly, I think, a fifth freedom Emirates from Bangkok to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Similarly, a 3.5 hour experience.
Yeah.
But a great way, again,
yeah.
if you want to experience Emirates first class.
The other ways to experience Emirates first class are very expensive. Points-wise or cash-wise,
Absolutely.
whatever
So
you say.
this is a-
Because there are long haul from Dubai.
Correct.
No, but I'll tell you one thing, like, and me and Aadil keep discussing this. अगर तुमको जल पे आज भी अगर मुझे first class मिल रहा होता, I'm ready to pay 80,000 tax, 1 lakh rupee tax, because the amount of experience that you get on that flight is unmatched, right?
So I think understand the concept of freedom, and please note that this is not just applicable for Emirates.
Yeah.
This is applicable
Singapore
for
Airlines.
every
Singapore का भी है,
fly-
MXP
airline in the
से,
world.
I think.
सिंगापुर में भी है. सिंगापुर में फ्रैंकफर्ट न्यूयॉर्क आपको मिलेगा directly on Singapore, which is a beautiful freedom flight, which is again like fantastic if you want to transit from Europe to US. So I think Sudeep nailed the strategy of freedom, number one. Number two, he was awake at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Not only that, I think he went through crazy efforts of, getting his wife also up in the morning क्योंकि OTP का scene है, making her realize.
And we need 2 seats, right?
Exactly.
So 2 जन को parallel में
दोनों
booking
को साथ
करनी
में
है.
बुक करना है
दोनों को साथ में
क्योंकि
करनी
there
है.
might be another
Third
Dhimant
person.
in the world
Yeah,
जो
yeah.
same 5:30 बजे उठ के बैठा है. So you need to nail the timing because
Yeah.
both Qatar and Singapore Airlines have this policy of releasing 355 days in advance.
Yeah.
तो अगर तुम जल्दी स्कोर नहीं करोगे वो बहुत जल्दी चले जाएगा.
But I have a additional question for Sudeep, right? I mean, tell me again. I'm not sure if you are anyways going to cover it, but like, how do you do it differently now? Like, what is your Group B plan now?
So now we'll just summarize this, and then we'll come to action plan for this year. So the summary is what Sudeep did was 160K Group B. 160K Group B में he was able to do not only a mixed airline but also a mixed cabin. For example, what he was able to do, 160K Group B per person plus 17,000 taxes. He was able to book Emirates on Qantas miles from Christchurch to Sydney, and then from Sydney, that was first class Emirates, but from Sydney to Bangalore, business class on Qantas.
Qantas, yes.
That doesn't have a first class itself, no?
No, they don't
Really?
have first
They don't
class.
have first class.
So I think this is a great way of
Yeah.
experiencing 2 different aircrafts,
Yeah.
2 different cabin classes with insanely low taxes. अब ये हो गया आपका लास्ट ईयर का स्ट्रेटेजी जो आपने डिप्लॉय किया फेब दिस ईयर. यू मेड योर 10th year anniversary special. Now let's talk about Magnus Burgundy and what is going to be your plan this year and how you're thinking of utilizing it.
But not only the burn part, even the earn part. Because
Absolutely.
are you now worried while spending the card कि अब मैं ये कार्ड नहीं spend करता हूँ? Let me take out another card from my pocket. Like how does
उसके बाद 2 बर्गंडी पड़े हैं कैसे यूज नहीं करेगा वो.
So the strategy this year, so generally what I used to do is use the Magnus Burgundy or any other card for one specific purpose. Like कि या तो एक साल में Accor ही चला गया, क्योंकि Accor जाना है तो bulk में ही जाता है. तो this year the idea was I have something planned for December. I have not even told my wife yet कि कहाँ
बताओ
जा
ना
रहे
यार,
हैं.
अब बता दो.
ठीक है, उसको घर जाके फिर बताऊंगा. We are going to Hong Kong.
Okay.
ठीक है, तो I booked flights through Avios, Cathay Pacific मिल गया, तो वो that was okay. And I booked Mondrian सर का
क्या बात है, very good.
मैंने कहा जरा Mondrian बुक कर लेते हैं और मकाओ में I think I booked the Sofitel Ponte 16 whatever.
ठीक है.
तो
This is about December this year.
हाँ, December.
This is through which program, Sudeep?
commission मिलना चाहिए अपने को Montreal
Through which
और-
program did you make this booking?
The aircraft, the airline.
No, through which airline, through which FFP did you book this?
So I
Avios
booked
via Cathay.
Avios via Qatar onward and Avios via BA on return because it's a peak date. तो कैथे में भी सीट नहीं थी, बट BA opened the seat.
कैथे में सीट इसलिए नहीं है बिकॉज कैथे लेट खोलता है.
लेट खोलता है और मेरे को उतना चिक चिक नहीं चाहिए, तो
नहीं, अपने
अच्छा
को
हुआ मैंने
बुकिंग
कर लिया.
एडवांस चाहिए यार.
But there is
मैंने
another
अच्छा-
great redemption for this, using Group B, again via Qantas itself, right?
नहीं, the seats were not there for return. The seats were not there for return. Non-peak का मिल रहा है, 4th Jan का मिल रहा है. I wanted 2nd Jan. 4th Jan is a Monday.
Then again, coming to the point of the flexibility, what Dhimant mentioned
Yeah,
earlier
yeah,
on,
yeah.
right?
तो मैंने कहा चल ठीक है, 10,000 miles extra तक BA को देते हैं, लेके आते हैं.
यार ब्रेकडाउन कर दो ना कितना पड़ा.
तो I don't remember on top of my head, but I think 37,000 Avios for one way जाने का और आने का some 50,000 Avios है, क्योंकि BA is expensive than that.
Per
Now-
person?
Per person, yeah. Now the plan for stay was Accor. मैंने कहा दिसंबर का बुकिंग है, आराम से विल ट्रांसफर.
दर्द अभी आने वाला
तो
है. दर्द
दर्द तो
अभी
आ
आने वाला
चुका.
है. अभी आने वाला है.
अरे भाई उस दिन तो मतलब आई स्लेप्ट अर्ली. आई गॉट अप, इट वाज 1st April का नाइट. आई स्लेप्ट अर्ली. आई गॉट अप एंड आई सॉ यार ग्रुप में इतने सारे मैसेजेस रात को कौन कर रहा है. एंड आई क्या हो गया, ये Accor चला गया, एंड ठीक है एक दिन तो शॉक लगा, बट देन इट ऑल्सो हेल्प्स यू ब्रिंग डाउन कि नीचे उतरो भाई. Accor was there and that was in a way an outlier. You were living the dream कि यार Accor है इतना अच्छा है, बाकी को you were not focusing.
Question is, did you live the dream or did you wait for
So
it?
summary is, I think what you're trying to say is this year का group A quota you didn't utilize.
I didn't utilize.
You were going to transfer, but you're like मेरा दिसंबर में आराम से करते हैं, और आपने मूव नहीं किया.
मैंने मूव नहीं किया.
पूरा 2 लाख गया.
तो एक मिनट, so you said you booked the Mondrian.
Yeah.
तो कैसे बुक किया था फिर?
अभी तो खाली वो है ना flexi cancellation, it's a free booking.
He is
So
not
you
paid.
have not burnt your points.
I haven't burnt my points.
You have just booked it.
Yeah, I've just
तो
booked it.
अभी
क्या है ना, होटल तो पसंद आ गई है.
हाँ.
ठीक है, अब रहना तो पॉइंट्स पे था. Let's see, we have HSBC.
But you have the Premier, so you'll earn through that.
We have the Premier, so we'll earn through that.
That's where the strategy change happens. You start now swiping Premier more often.
Yes.
Non-AEP months, I'm assuming
Yes.
MB goes in the pocket.
So yeah,
and
that's
Premier
the
comes.
high level strategy in general. So you don't maximize one particular card throughout your life. ऐसा नहीं कि AEP है या Magnus Burgundy है तो जिंदगी भर you use that card because it's the king right now. You see where you're going. You want to make your vacations cheaper, not free. It's not possible to make it free. So if I have plans for Hong Kong and I have already booked Accor, so there are only 2 options for me. Either earn on HSBC Premier and Infinia, why not? 50.5 का वैल्यू चलेगा, कोई बात नहीं. Earn there more, या फिर look for other hotels.
भाई
मेरा
मेरा सिंपल फ्रेमवर्क मैं यूज करता हूँ. मैं कुछ भी नहीं सोचता. मुझे कोई भी कितना भी डरा दे, मैं कुछ नहीं करता. लाइक फॉर मी इट्स वेरी सिंपल. यू हैव टू स्पेंड ऑन समटाइम्स नॉन एफिशिएंट कार्ड्स to protect yourself from diversification. You should always have, I'm 100, please assume from here on, whoever is watching this show, every year, every card will get devalued. And the only way to protect yourself is not by pre-booking everything, but ensuring that when that happens, your pain is less, which means that the person who started investing in HSBC Premier and ICICI EPM to some extent, वो अलग बात है कि didn't turn out well, sometimes you will get those jhatkas, right? Diversification is the only way to, and again, it requires 3-4 devaluation cycles to understand this. Just like a 3 bear markets, when you see, you become intelligent कि भाई मैं एक bull market में गॉड था, second bear market में मैं फट गई मेरी, right? So you have to diversify, and it's as simple as that.
Request one thing, Dhimant. Whatever predictions you've made on devaluations, no, they've come about to be true. Please also make a one sort of a revaluation prediction, boss.
अरे मैंने बोला था HSBC का, I have told clearly multiple times कि HSBC is in revaluation cycle. Today, okay, let's be clear. अगर आज मैं ये ना बोलूँ कि HSBC will come back with another bonus very soon on some of the partners, this is your hint. You cannot wait for it to happen. अभी हम लोग पॉड के पहले ही बात कर रहे थे. If you wait when everybody is planning to sell their stocks, there's no point selling the stock at that point of time.
So I'll tell you what I've learned from each of you, right? Known you all for a few years now. So धीमंत से सीखा है कि तुमको आज शायद एक कार्ड की जरूरत नहीं है, लेके रखो. You never know. And I'll give you this analogy कि आजकल क्रिकेट चल रहा है IPL, right? Impact substitute बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. पता चला 5-6 विकेट डाउन, अब किसी की जरूरत है, दैट बगर विल कम, ही चेंज द गेम. इट्स हैपेंड मल्टीपल टाइम्स. दिस फॉर मी, बिलीव इट और नॉट, हैज बीन द इंडसइंड एवियोस कार्ड. और मेरे को नहीं चाहिए था कार्ड. आई हैव बीन अ इजी डाइनर लॉयलिस्ट. मेरे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कार्ड है वो. आई हैड टू सैक्रिफाइस दैट कार्ड. And I learned this from 2 people. He told me, because Dhimant and I are close and he knows what are my spends that are going to be. बोलता है तुम ये ले लो, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट. ना उस चलेंगे यार इजी डाइनर कुर्बान करना पड़ेगा, मेरे को बहुत अच्छा कैशबैक मिलता है हर महीने उसके बाद, बिकॉज आई डाइन आउट ऑफन. ही सेड ले लो. And in the Discord community of ours, somebody discovered this beautiful hack. IndusInd allows you to have only one card. But there is a way for you to sacrifice your card, get the IndusInd Avios, and there is a special link which is available in our Discord community, which somebody has shared. If you apply via that, then you will also get the Easy Diner card.
के लिए ऑफलाइन जाना जरूरी नहीं होता है. हाँ, which I think is the most
जो
popular.
ऑनलाइन है. तो what I did was like, यार this works, and multiple people got it. बोला अब ये ले लेते हैं. कुदरत का करिश्मा, I don't know how, I had this big spend, and that had to go on the Avios only. No other card would have optimized it, and luckily that worked. So the impact substitute
नहीं, but Adil, you missed a very important point. I think 2 points you missed, right? Again, you will relate to it the most. अगर आपने उस spend का आने का wait किया होता, you did not have enough time to get the card. Number one. Exactly. Number two, even after getting the card, if you remember our discussion, you're like, नहीं यार, मैं तो 20 lakh spend करूँगा. The thing is that even at that point of time, you may find a card that theoretically looks to better value. But after 1st April, after you realize that Avios is gone from Axis, it's going to be really hard for you to score Avios.
Let's get a little deeper into this ecosystem. The insight that Dhimant gave me was beautiful because, and I didn't realize it then, मेरे को अभी literally कल पता चला है when I was talking to him and I had to make this payment. My limit on card A is X. My limit on card B is Y. I didn't have the limit on card A that I was going to originally plan to swipe on. This card gave me a better limit and the transaction was able to go through. नहीं तो अटक जाता, and in this transaction I can't split the transaction. So I think that impact player, have a card before you need it. And sometimes it's okay to bear the cost of the joining fee. You might not use it, but not having it, the delta would be too large. That's what I've learned from
I have another example, and again, this is something we haven't discussed, but मैं openly बता रहा हूँ. See, the thing is, when the 1.35 flat charge cars offer was running, a lot of people like 1.4 आएगा, 1.5 आएगा, they're desperate. मैंने कभी बोला लोगों को कि ले लो कार्ड because if you need it, I'm not saying if you don't need it, take the card. But if you're eyeing that card, don't keep waiting for the best of nobody. Just like you cannot predict the top of the stock price, you can never predict the bottom and the top. It's impossible. If an offer works for you and looks good to you, don't wait for the next best offer. Aaj bhi, if you look at the plat charge, probably this is the last chance, and I'm saying it with confidence because I know a few things that are probably planned to get the referral benefit, the welcome benefit, and probably also all the things that you come along with the card today. If you still overthink, आपका जो बोलते हैं ना, आपकी sweets अगर मिल रहा है 62,000 पे भी या advantage fare पे भी ले लो, because tomorrow it may not be, you know what, take it. If you need the card, don't wait. हाँ, you are waiting for the right time because you have a Maldives trips and आपको बाद में चाहिए card, then it's a fair thing to wait. But if you feel that the offer is good, it works for you. Now people are waiting for Air India offer.
Half volley आएगा, go down the track, smash it. Out हो सकते हो, हाँ ठीक है यार, लेकिन ले लेते हैं risk.
There are some cards, he spoke about the joining fee, annual fee. It's like you don't even have to think about it. Something like the Indus and Avios card, you're getting 40,000 Avios. It's worth multiple
That card is so bloody
X-fold.
brilliant. I have received the card on 7th April. I have made the first transaction on 8th April. 10th April, 20,000 Avios credited. Bhai,
It was
3
amazing.
दिन में welcome bonus credited. That's crazy.
Also, Aadil, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, there was a lot of chaos when that offer ran, the Qatar offer, right? The bonus one. I was also very frustrated because I applied for the card on 1st Jan and I got the card because there's one underrated feature on that card. You get one international meet and greet. तो मेरा प्लान सेट था कि I was going to New York and New York is a very chaotic airport. मेरे को वहाँ पे meet and greet यूज़ करना था. I was so frustrated because I did not get the card. I wrote emails, etc. नहीं आया, लेकिन finally I got it after I couldn't use that meet and greet. Now I was so frustrated, like ये क्या execution है ये बकवास. After that day, everything has been super smooth. All points, movement to Qatar happens in like record time. आपके कतार में अकाउंट में आ जाता है. Everything is perfect. For me, I think credit where it's due. I mean, and again, I don't think they expected कि इतने लोग वो वेलकम बेनिफिट पे जंप मारेंगे. I think that's where but again, it's a brilliant card, yeah.
So that's what I've learned from Dhimant. Now coming to Sudeep and coming to Sid. So from Sudeep, you tend to learn कि boss don't optimize and over optimize. मैं 2 saver मिलेगा तो लूँगा. Forget it. Take the advantage fare. Take the saver combination.
Yeah, if you want to do
Go
it,
ahead
do it.
and burn and create that memory of a lifetime. अगर aspirational redemptions करना है, use this playbook. Second thing that you learn from Sudeep is, boss, don't think about only one carrier on one frequent flyer program. You can score 2 different aircraft experiences or airline experiences on a single frequent flyer program, and this is not potentially possible on the web. ये आपको शायद फोन पे करना हुआ होगा. You would have potentially called the.
Oh, no. Qantas has a deep integration with Emirates.
So it worked on the app.
It works on that.
Yeah, it works on the app.
ये तो बहुत सही था. Even सही. But normally क्या होता है कि हम लोग जब complex itineraries कर रहे हैं, because I have done it even for KrisFlyer, मेरे को web पे नहीं दिखता ये, तो I have called. It's worth the 1 hour effort. But that's what I learned. Similarly, Sid opened my eyes to Flying Blue last year. Again, जैसे आपने Qantas को use किया है, he has shown me amazing ways, and he's also spoken on the pod on how to optimize Flying Blue. So look for these hidden gems. Clearly, the hidden gems for me from today's conversation and from our previous conversations is Qantas and Flying Blue, like you all have shown us to optimize.
But I would like to add to that, Aadil, if you don't mind. Just want to give one sort of an input as to what is possible, right?
Yeah.
First of all, coming to Dhimant's point of people trying to thinking of closing their cards and outright closing, I don't think that makes that doesn't make any sense at all. In fact, keep it. There is something in store. Group B, Flying Blue. I think most of you guys know I'm a huge fan. Coming to your point of the fifth freedom flight, right? KLM has some great options. I just want to
Go with it. I love this.
Just a couple of things, right? So Singapore to Bali, again you have a fifth freedom flight.
Lovely.
KLM. New York to LA, you have a flight. You also have
That's a red eye.
possible.
No, because New York to LA is probably 6 hours.
5 hours.
No, it's longer. It's longer.
5.5 hours.
Six
And they
hours
have
red eye,
have
yeah?
one even to Seattle.
So KLM flies this.
KLM flies fifth freedom.
So
Then-
this is crazy good because most of the US carriers, right? Even if you book a business class, that's still a 3+3. तुमको सिर्फ आगे का सीट मिल रहा है और बीच का खाली रहेगा and 1+1
यार,
window and aisle book
because you
So this
spoke
is,
about because
this
you
is a
spoke about
full-fledged business. layout.
It's not the fuzzy
So
business.
these are like some sweet spots. Very, very easy to get, good availability, and pretty reasonable. The other thing is Miami to Cuba, Havana. Amazing route. New York or Miami to Aruba. Aruba is an island, it's a Dutch island. So they fly that as well. So these are some crazy sweet spots which I have found. I think if you just, these don't show up on Seats Aero. They don't show up regularly on these sites. Go to Flying Blue, try your, just go wild. Because they have 2 connection flights, they have single connection flights. They just show you something. And the other thing about Flying Blue is, guys, you need to do a pod just for Flying Blue. There's just so much to talk about. If there's something not available on the website, right, go to the app. In most probable cases,
We spoke about it once.
you will find something.
Flying Blue का API available है क्या? Can we build an MCP around it to play around and fetch
Never
data?
searched.
ठीक है.
So the other beautiful thing, sorry to cut you off, Sudeep, about Flying Blue, since we are talking about it right now, I booked my Barcelona trip, my Spain trip. It was Bangalore. First, I booked it through Etihad. Now, Etihad flights you can book on Flying Blue as well. Partner. Got a great deal. Bangalore, Abu Dhabi, Barcelona. Why I booked this is because the timing was amazing. And I had to apply for a visa for my wife, which I got the Spain visa. So I wanted to land directly in Spain. The timing was 10:15. You reach at 8 a.m. Barcelona time. It was amazing, right? Now, because of this whole Middle Eastern crisis, what happened was flights rescheduling. Abu Dhabi was under pressure, like, the other cities. So they rescheduled my flight. Some of my friends, they even canceled their flights. So initially, what was a 12-hour flight became an 18-hour flight with a huge stopover. I was reaching Barcelona late that night. It didn't really work out for me. So what I did was I called these guys, Flying Blue. This is the Indian customer care. And I was like, you guys have rescheduled this flight. It doesn't really work for me. What are the options? He's like, sir, we can offer you a refund. I said, that's not going to work, right? I need to get there, and I need to get there on time. Now, because of this whole crisis, the downside about Flying Blue is dynamic pricing, but that's something that you have to work around. So those flights that were flying from Bangalore to Amsterdam and then to Barcelona were all ridiculously priced in terms of miles, 300,000, 400,000, economy ke liye. Premium was cheaper than economy, but the taxes were much higher. So it didn't work out. So I said, you guys have to do something. So this guy on the line said, sir, just hang on for a couple of minutes. Let me see what other available options are there. After like a minute, he just comes back and he's like, sir, there is this one option. I can put you on to this KLM flight, 0880. You guys can just figure that out. Bangalore, Amsterdam, 1:30 a.m. it leaves here, lands at 8 a.m., 1.5 hour layover, finish your immigration, 12 p.m. you land in Barcelona. That flight, which was available for 300,000 plus miles, I got at the original Etihad booking, which I made for 35,000 miles. It was a direct replacement. I was elated, and I was like, you guys, God bless y'all. My work is done. And can you imagine that transition, booking an Etihad flight on miles and then going straight out to a KLM flight?
And let me guess that like one of the cards that you're now eyeing is the Bob Etihad card to get the
Done and dusted.
Honestly, it's a no-brainer.
I'll tell you the biggest hack. The biggest hack. And somebody's done this on our Discord community. Here you go. So it says you have to do your first transaction on Etihad to get the gold status. Here is people are geniuses. I don't know how they come up with such brilliance and sheer genius.
ये बीप होने वाला है सब कुछ. हाँ बोलो.
So इसमें क्या हुआ? This guy had already booked his flight. He has booked his flight. He doesn't have the Etihad card yet. He is scheduled to fly in 2 months. He saw the Etihad card, 5,000 rupee card, you're getting 15,000 miles. He applied, he got the card. You know what he did? He just went and selected his seat and he paid the seat selection charges. Boom! Etihad Gold. Think about it.
And that's for 1 year at least, right?
यार 3,000 रुपए दे रहे हो तुम seat selection का, including taxes. You got Etihad Gold for 3,000 rupees. You didn't have to book a flight.
सर आपको एक चीज बोलता हूँ. आपको एक चीज बोलता हूँ.
क्या मतलब ये crazy है?
Yeah, crazy. And by the way, this card का fee waiver is 5 लाख रुपया. Any spend.
हाँ लेकिन इसमें सिर्फ यही देखो कि अगर आप बेस पॉइंट्स सोच रहे हो कमाने का, इसके एक्सक्लूजन्स बहुत सारे. बट कीप इन माइंड दिस इज नॉट अ कार्ड टू अर्न पॉइंट्स ऑन बेस स्पेंड्स. दिस इज
आदिल भाई,
सर जब एक सेकंड जब विस्तारा गोल्ड मिल रहा था,
एक बात समझ लो, it gets you Etihad Gold, which also leads to one more thing. You can get Air France Platinum, Flying Blue Platinum. You have to pay for it. But the brilliance of that is status match. But you have to pay for it. You get to choose your business class seats, which officially cost $150 each seat. That you get for free. Free cancellations, no 70 euro thing, fee for that. Also, it opens up a Pandora's box. You can book Air France La Premier.
Exactly.
La Premier is where you can book it.
Yeah.
The new La Premier.
The new La Premier.
Energies configuration.
By the way, see, again, I know ये comments में यही आना वाला, clear कर देता हूँ. One, massive exclusions on this card. Number one. Number two, उनका tech है काफी फटा हुआ. So there are times where you put a PAN card, OTP नहीं आएगा. Please keep trying. हो जाता है. It works. And among all the public sector banks, Bob has still got reliable tech. मतलब I know it's not the best, but I hold cards from Bob, and again I would choose it over SBI any day. मतलब that's my experience. Second thing, ये जो card है Bob Etihad card, what I realize is it's also amazing 0 forex card. Amazing 0 forex card.
For 5 grand, man. Come on.
And 5 lakh पे
यार
exclusion.
15,000 तो तुमको मिल रहा है.
Exactly. You've covered your card cost right there.
Anyways, let's leave the card
No,
link
but
in
I think
the...
so let's summarize it, right? If you're looking for base spends, don't get this card because there's too many exclusions. But your 5,000 is instantly recovered because तुम 15,000 मिल रहा है. Secondly, you've got a great hack to get Etihad Gold, right? That itself.
सर पूरा साल एक ही सवाल आता है. जब विस्तारा गोल्ड बंद हो गया, we kept getting this question. How do I get Star Alliance Gold? How do I get Star? अभी सेम चीज होगा. ये कार्ड कोई अप्लाई नहीं करेगा. And then after one point of time, everybody like, how do I get this gold? My point is when you get these opportunities don't come often.
You want to get a status match to Sky Team. This is what you talked
Sky
about,
team,
right?
even अरे मैं बोल रहा हूँ, some Star Alliance partner will come with a status match. You never know. You never know. Egypt Air का Star Alliance status match आ जाएगा.
Impact player. अभी तैयार रहो.
But also another reason why this is a great time to get the card, sad for people who applied in the March month, is they've now amped up the offer.
5,000
You're getting 15,000.
You're getting 10, now you're getting 15.
हाँ, you're getting 15. So पहले 5 मिल रहा था जो उन्होंने 2x का offer run किया था, which is 10. Now you're getting 15. And if you're getting the card, get the premium one. Don't get the
Dhimant,
base
you had
variant.
made a reel also about this, if
Yeah,
I
I
remember
did, I
right?
did.
And you were like, I have no idea why they've done it, but we are not complaining, right? It's amazing.
So we'll leave the link in the bio. I mean, if you're one of those guys who appreciates status or who thinks that getting status is hard by flying, by loyalty, this is
And it is hard by far.
It is hard.
Etihad Gold कितना difficult है, कितना चाहिए?
काफी है.
कितना like there is a massive amount
I
of
don't
money.
remember off the top of my head, but it is quite hard to get that status. But anyways, summarizing. So, beautiful strategy, Sudeep. Dhimant, coming to you, what's your Magnus Burgundy strategy for this year?
Very good point, and I think let me clarify my strategy. मैंने last year का पूरा group A, last year का Accor में डाल दिया था, which is 3 lakhs in my case because of Burgundy Private. This year, I started with 1st Jan मैंने 1 लाख डाल दिया Accor में. Then I don't know what happened. I think chatter चल रहा था, and I've seen enough to know कि यार first quarter में devaluations हो सकते हैं. And if I were Axis, I just feel that P&L pressure अगर है तो you will try to remove the item which is the most hurting you, which is Accor, right? So I kind of, even though I didn't feel like, because मुझे Avios चाहिए था, I still ended up moving everything to Accor. And then, damn, this happened. So my entire stash has already gone to Accor. Now, this year's strategy, now after swiping now, is that whatever I swipe now, I will move everything to Avios. I am going to go the British Airways route now because 5:4 British Airways is available on Burgundy Private. I already have IndusInd Avios say 40,000 plus whatever that joining bonus tha plus the 2 milestones. I think 76,000 odd I have collected Avios from there. I have the Qatar Gold because I went and did the platinum status match with Accor. So for me this year is about Avios. So the things that I'm thinking is largely Masai Mara via Qatar once it opens up. I'm thinking a couple of routes. I'm also thinking Qatar, Doha to New Zealand because KrisFlyer I'm struggling. So this is what I'm thinking.
It's a very hot route.
So hence, all cards which give me an Avios route, which is Infinia, the new group that will come next year, everything will go to Avios. That's my strategy.
Brilliant strategy. So I think let's take a couple of steps back, right? So people need to understand how Dhimant has played this really smart. Last year, he figured that he has a business trip coming up to US. उसको 3-4 महीने पहले पता चल गया था. उसका एंटीना तभी खड़ा हो गया था and he was like मैं ये प्लान करने वाला हूँ. He figured out कि I'm going to go, so I'm going to keep searching for Qatar availability, and he found it. The genius of Dhimant was on award he was going to do both the sectors. He did from JAL, Bangalore to Hokkaido, and from Hokkaido to
Tokyo, Hokkaido, Tokyo, New York.
Yeah, so you did that on JAL, right? Or aate waqt he said, I'm going to do Qatar. But he was like, yaar, I have to do one leg on revenue. Because if I do one leg on revenue, then what happens is I will unlock One World Sapphire. लेकिन यार अब तो मेरे को points में करना है तो मैं कैसे करूँगा? The genius of his move was, let me not take the connecting flight in 2 hours. Let me spread it out and take it after 20 hours. 20 घंटे में क्या करूँगा? मैं ओमान जाके आता हूँ because my cousin is in Oman. I will meet her. I will meet my nephew. I will spend some time at the airport. But because I'm doing a revenue return trip, right, from Doha to Oman and back, that unlocks One World Sapphire. The cost of that trip is barely anything, maybe 10,000 rupees, 12,000.
$96.
There you go, 10,000 rupees.
One way, yeah.
वो 10,000 रुपए में उसका return trip हो गया, and he was able to unlock One World Sapphire. Now that he's unlocked One World Sapphire, he knows that this year he's going to do this Masai Mara or potentially BA because he has the reserve, because he has the Burgundy Private, and sets him up beautifully. Sid, what's your plan for Magnus Burgundy this year?
So I'm in a similar situation as Dhimant. So on 1st April, some great news from Air India came.
Yeah.
So with their revalued routes. So
Luckily,
I said, let's go.
It was not April Fools, it was legit.
It wasn't.
Reel मैंने वही start किया था, remember, yeah.
So what I said is, let me just go and transfer some points now. We are in Jan. I've finished my quota for 2025. Now I'm in 26. I've got a good stack of points in my Axis. So I transferred some into Air India. I was lucky enough to transfer around 2 lakhs, so I got 160,000 in my Accor. I still have 1 lakh. So that I'm planning to use on Air Canada now. I think it's a very versatile program. It's a good program. Also, we have United, so there's no real option left, right? So it's between these three now. KrisFlyer I'm not looking at because I've already got Infinia, BizBlack, who sub options hai. So I'm not going to waste my Group A miles on this. Most probably it's going to be Air Canada because Europe travel becomes real easy. So for now, I'm sorted. बाद में का बाद में देखेंगे. Only setback, the flip side is that I didn't transfer it to my wife. So I've got that stack in her Atlas, in her Burgundy Private. So I just need to see how I can maximize that. Yeah.
But Aadil, like one part हमने miss कर दिया strategy का, right? Because a lot of people are still going to ask the same question. आपने कितना भी business class की बात कर ली. What are my Accor options? Let's just quickly cover it एक बार. If you are somebody who has the Magnus Burgundy, my preferred route. And see, because you have to have the Magnus Burgundy, you cannot probably get the Premier easily, right? So what I would do is, if I have the Magnus Burgundy, I would keep my AP months. I would then go to JAL, transfer it to JAL, and get my Accor at a lower ratio. 7% is still a great earning in my view. Number one. Number two, I would do is I would supplement my earning of Accor through JAL with a TravelOne card, HSBC TravelOne. That's a great way of looking at it. These are the two options. Third, if you still feel that you're okay to get a Regalia Gold, I would use Regalia Gold as well, and I would diversify on these three. Again, why would I diversify? Because I don't know if HSBC tomorrow again removes Accor. Kya pata, right? For me, these are the 2-3 things I would do. Because see, I'm assuming that Magnus Burgundy I cannot get Premier easily without giving money to the bank, which a lot of people don't prefer to. That's Magnus Burgundy strategy. If you're at Atlas, for the largest period, people kept asking me, if I have Atlas, should I get the TravelOne? I always said no. I think now this is the time when if you have an Atlas, you need to get the TravelOne. And if you are in a restricted geography, just plain bad luck, can't do much. Then Accor, then Regalia Gold is the second best option in my view, right? Obviously, again, assuming that you can't get the Infinia for whatever reason, nobody knows why nobody gets Infinia or nobody. So
Also, a little birdie tells us there is an Accor card coming soon. It will come in 2026. किसके साथ आएगा कब आएगा नहीं पता, लेकिन 2026 में आएगा. जब आएगा तो देखते हैं. I'll quickly cover up like my plan for Magnus Burgundy this year, and then the three of you have covered your Magnus Burgundys. I think a lot of the learnings that you covered also applies for Atlas also. So what I will do is I'll talk about my Atlas play and my Magnus Burgundy play and how I potentially see these. And then we'll try and see, we'll go back and we'll get your specific Atlas prompts for you also so that we can talk about it. So for me, last year I think I got clarity around July that I could make a play for diamond because I had attained platinum and I was like diamond is within reach. So let's try and see what we could do to get diamond. Or I think मेरे को October तक clarity मिल गई थी कि diamond हो जाएगा. Eventually got Accor diamond. Then suddenly when I got it in October end, I had to realize कि boss 2026 का plan October 2025 में ही बनाना पड़ेगा. The next whole year, because if I've got diamond now I have to juice Accor diamond for the whole year. So how do you optimize? Which means it became clear that 2026 1st Jan, your 30k of Atlas and 200k of Axis Magnus Burgundy Group A moves on 1st Jan itself, come what may, to Accor. So 1st January koi 200k, which means 160k Accor mein aa gaya. 30k ka 60k Accor mein aa gaya. Moved everything completely. Luckily, as fate would have had it, HSBC Premier came with the transfer bonus of 50%. तो वो जितना आया था वो भी मूव कर दिया.
बताओ पहला कॉल किसका आया था तुमको?
So again, so credit for that also. I was not a Premier fan initially. There are three people who nudged me towards that. I've already spoken about this in the past openly. Dhimant, Manas, who's in the Great Indian Lounge, whose handle is MZ, and Tushar. Tushar से बच के रहो. साला जहाँ जाता है वो devalue हो जाता है. So he wanted to get, I think, he wanted to get 2 or 3 cards. Whichever card he has applied for has gotten devalued.
Magnus Burgundy, he just thought about it and it got devalued.
So he was always away from Magnus Burgundy. He thought about getting it devalued. He booked a stay to Dubai with his family of, I think, 7 people. And Dubai devalue ho gaya. Can you imagine? So we joke about it but Tushar, again, great guy. He, Manas and Dhimant kept nudging me, boss, get the Premier. It's a very good hedge because you don't have any other Accor option and you are potentially going to juice Accor diamond next year. So uske liye bahut critical hota hai. So I had to have a backup and now the Premier suddenly helps kyunki Accor is gone. So I had planned Masai Mara, which is going to happen in May for me this year. It was already booked. So I booked that in December only. And my strategy has always been book by pre-burning points on Accor. Because devaluations can be of 2 types. One, there is a bank-led devaluation, which means you can't move or you can move at a lower ratio. Second, what if Accor itself devalues? Right? So उधर जाके मेरे को burn नहीं करना है, मैं prepay करके burn कर देता हूँ. Similarly, I had a London trip that is happening, which I booked in January because I got the points then. October में वो कर रहा हूँ, and that is also pre-burnt and it's already booked. तो मेरा risk नहीं है अभी. अगर Accor भी devalue हो जाता है, this is prepaid for me. God forbid now if I can't go because of work, फिर तो that is a risk and I will. But luckily they are cancelable fares. Which means I'm playing a slight premium, but that's okay. Baki, I've spoken about the flight redemption, which is Virgin for London. For Masai Mara, I am flying Air Kenya direct on revenue from Bombay to Kenya. I think that's...
Let's cover 2 cards, which I think are the most hurt cards, right? Atlas and Horizon. Let's cover a section on that, right? Because you covered the redemption part beautifully. I think the strategy for Group A, Group B remains similar for Magnus Burgundy and Atlas, minus the 1:2 has now moved to 2:1 for those 3 partners. Don't even touch those partners. हाथ भी मत लगाना उसको, right? So now the options that you're left with are basically Air India, Chris Flyer, Jal, and Aeroplan. I think these are the I think works beautifully for Atlas. My bigger issue with Atlas now is I don't see myself getting my card out much. One, I feel extremely difficult to get the 7.5 lakh on Atlas. And I'm sure a lot of people, see, because we are some of those people who have massive spends to justify 7.5 lakhs. Most of the people whom I know can't even reach 7.5 on Atlas. Should those guys keep Atlas? I think that's a very good question to answer. And I said, like I said, I would get the T1 now. And I think you will see now more value spending on T1 than Atlas, even with a lower base rate spend. Again, being very honest, because the Accor transfer makes it extremely lucrative. Not only Qatar, Accor, but also Qatar now, right? Because Qatar is a goner from Atlas, right? So the way I'm thinking about it is ki, if you are somebody who has a large spend where Atlas is a part of your portfolio, keep it. But if you are one guy who depended only on Atlas for your only spends maybe, right? And you cannot do 7.5 lakhs, think about whether you want to still keep the Atlas or not.
Frame it. I think the right way to put it is, if you want hotel redemption options, which is largely Accor, or if you want to tap into the Avios ecosystem or the One World ecosystem, get the TravelOne or the Premier. Simple.
And maybe the IndusInd Avios.
Correct. But if you have an Atlas and you still want to do Star Alliance, boss, stick with Atlas. It is a great card. तुम्हारे पास एरोप्लान है, तुम्हारे पास महाराजा क्लब है, तुम्हारे पास इवन क्रिस फ्लायर है.
नहीं, but even
These all help with.
One World भी कर सकते हो जल के थ्रू, but it's
थोड़ा
difficult.
tricky है.
हाँ,
Because
exactly.
यार जल का तुम कितना भी बोलो, प्रोग्राम ग्रेट है, I love it, I use it every year. लेकिन UI काफी टेरेबल है.
Okay.
और फोन भी करना
Fair,
पड़ता है
fair.
कभी-कभी.
Then
तो वो
let's
थोड़ा tricky.
थोड़ा और concrete answer देते हैं. If you are somebody who does not want to do airline bookings and all your spend are base spends, I don't see the need of Atlas in your portfolio. Let's put it clearly.
क्योंकि उसका फॉरेक्स फी भी हाई है.
Exactly. आप
This
कहाँ
is where
spend करोगे?
T1 comes to the
आप
rescue.
कहाँ spend करोगे? That's my question, right? So I think that's where I think, and again, if I were to put this analogy to Horizon, पहले तो ऐसा था कि HSBC T1 was competing with Horizon.
यार एक मिनट ना, आप Horizon का cover like the fees of the card, the base spends again, so that everybody understands. And can you say what kind of persona should somebody be to get Horizon? Is it a good card to enter the Axis ecosystem?
Sure.
And what's the upgrade part? ये आप थोड़ा cover करो.
Sure, cool. I think I'll cover this. I actually made some comparisons on Horizon versus T1, right? And in spite of the fact that T1 was a better card, Horizon won simply because of two reasons. One, T1 is not available for everyone,
Yeah.
right? And second,
City specific
problem. Second problem with HSBC is that sometimes it's hard to get the card because of the salaried, non-salaried route.
Yeah.
They have covered that now. So if you're non-salaried, still a lot of people with non-salary are not getting it easily. But that was the reason why Horizon won. Now I think suddenly with the change, and what is the change? You pay 3,000 rupees for the card. You used to get 1:1 transfer ratio versus 1:2 of Atlas. Okay, so which means that your transfer ratio to Accor was 1:1, right? So आप जो कमा रहे थे at 2% on Horizon was becoming roughly 4% with Accor. Now that is gone, right? Because Accor is no longer there, Qatar is no longer there. It was a great investment for that spend itself. But now with even Qatar gone, Accor gone, and even the partners like British Airways becoming 1:2, like it's half 2:1, right? So which means that the card makes no sense in my view for anybody to enter the ecosystem. Now, who should get the card? If you are somebody who feels कि मेरे को miles जमा करना है and I don't have spends to even justify an Atlas, then maybe this card makes sense. And if you cannot get TravelOne, that's my persona, right? The sad
and इसका earn potential बता दो और sweet spots बता दो.
स्वीट स्पॉट वही है जो आपका आई थिंक द वे यू अर्न ऑन एयरलाइंस द 5% ऑन Atlas, there is an accelerated on airlines, not on hotels. Not on hotels. Horizon doesn't have.
TravelOne पे is it on hotels only, OTA only?
TravelOne doesn't have any hotel and airline multiplier if you book direct.
If you book direct.
But if you book on Hopper and OTA, you get a discount code, and then you also get the multiplier.
Right, 18% on flights on TravelOne. It's a beautiful feature.
Yeah.
It's a really good feature.
I think 16%, no? 16 on TravelOne and 18 on Premier.
18 on Premier.
There's only a 2% difference. So my recommendation would be that now the time has come to even start justifying an Atlas. So Horizon ki matlab there is very little use cases that I see unless they get back some of the partners or introduce something crazy. Also the sad part, and this is where all of us, again मैं अभी जल्दी बोल रहा हूँ so that बाद में ये question बाद में ना आए. If you are holding an Atlas, be mentally prepared that you will be asked to move to a Horizon very soon. This is a possibility, not confirmed. इसलिए you can't do anything about it. But have a backup card. If your Atlas is your only card.
So are you saying that because the HDFC playbook की 18 lakh spend करो या हम तुमको downgrade कर देंगे, or you think कि Atlas they're going to kill the product and therefore move current Atlas users to Horizon, or
You
is
will
there a
get
third reason? क्या
You
सोच रहे
will, no, there's a second reason. They will force, if they decide to, just like they stopped, there was no reason for them to stop issuance of Atlas.
Right.
Similarly, they may just decide to discontinue the product itself
Got
and
it.
ask users, again, this has been in contemplation for a long time now. Right? So, Horizon is going to be the star product. See, when they do this, they'll also give some sweetness.
Yeah.
But मेरा point है कि do you want to depend on them on your strategy?
What's your hedge is what you're saying?
My hedge is simple. मतलब, yeah, what's your hedge is my question. You'd need to decide between a Regalia Gold or a TravelOne or IndusInd Avios depending on use case. My only point is if Atlas is your only card, make a move.
तो आप बोल रहे हो basically your options are in the HDFC ecosystem or the HSBC ecosystem यार. ICICI बैंक वाले क्या करें ये बताओ.
कौन सा बैंक? मैं like one thing I think one of the biggest problems that I see today with a lot of beginners are they're carrying the ICICI Sapphire card. I don't know what to say to them. Like I don't know what to say to them. I can't say बंद कर दो because LTF है सबके पास. वो spend कर रहे हैं बड़े amounts. I just feel that if you are somebody serious about travel, make your first jump either to a TravelOne or a Regalia Gold. Worst case scenario, Horizon.
So basically you're saying if you want to enter the points and miles game, forget the cashback game, we're not talking about that. Points and miles mein there are 4 serious players. The first player is Amex, but let's face it, they're issuing only 2 cards right now. There is the Platinum Reserve and the Platinum Charge, 2 very unique use cases. So isko side mein rakhte hain. Then there are only 3 entrants, 3 banks that you can potentially tap into. One is Axis Bank, one is HDFC, third is HSBC. इसके अलावा कोई तीसरा serious player नहीं है in our point of view. Are we all aligned?
Yes. And उसका मैं रैंकिंग भी बताता हूँ आपको.
बताओ.
If you are somebody who wants to make a jump, आपने वो सब रील्स देखी, सब इन्फ्लुएंसर्स की, सब लोगों की जो बार बार बोल रहे हैं मैंने क्रेडिट कार्ड से ये किया वो किया. If you are that guy and if you want to make the move, my ranking is HSBC TravelOne today, entry level. HSBC TravelOne, Regalia Gold, Reserve, Horizon. Clear.
Reserve बोले तो
Amex Platinum Reserve. However bad the card may be, or these cards may be, all of these cards have their own issues. It still
Value
makes
ठीक-ठाक है,
a lot
तुमको
of
Accor,
sense.
Explorer Plus मिल जाता है. American Express Plat Reserve. What are the benefits? You get the Accor Plus, but you get also 15,000 points or something.
You get
like that.
15,000
The status,
points.
20 status nights
20
and
status nights
no
and
stay plus
silver.
nights.
No stay plus is okay, but you get the 20 stay plus nights and you get the gold,
Status night.
Accor Gold, along with a 30% discount across APAC on
No, you
F&B.
don't get gold. You get silver.
Silver.
You get silver.
Because gold के लिए 30 चाहिए.
Oh, so you get 20 status.
But it's a route to gold.
Route
basically.
to gold. Yes. But I think even the 15,000 is only via referral. I think.
No, now they've added it
For
offhand
everybody.
as well, for everyone.
But then referral would be something
So it
more.
was 11,000. They've added 4,000
11
more.
plus 4K.
They made it 15,000.
Cool. I think this is a solid summary. What we've covered is the Burgundy Private. We covered the Magnus Burgundy. Please understand, everyone, that whatever applies for Magnus Burgundy in the form of redemption options also applies for the Atlas. There is no difference. Just the transfer amounts vary. But other than that, I think the rules of engagement are predominantly the
One thing we still missed is that Atlas, even after so much of pain, now Group A का limit makes sense because earning ही इतना मुश्किल हो गया, burning का ratio इतने खराब हो गया कि, but still 30,000 is a bummer. Another reason for me, I think they have not placed the Group A redemption limit rightly. I mean, अभी इतना सब करने के बाद I would have expected कि at least a Group A redemption limit 50,000 तो होनी चाहिए यार, मतलब 30,000 is too less for that card in my view.
So I think summarizing what's going on, at least in my head, is figure out your 2027 strategy अभी. 1st January को कहाँ ट्रांसफर करने वाले हो ये सोच के रखो और बैकअप प्लान बना के रखो. For example, if you're an Avios person, very difficult to juice value out of Axis today if you don't have Burgundy Private. Burgundy Private में आप अभी भी Avios को juice कर सकते हो. But अगर आप Star Alliance सोच रहे हो, Axis cards, all of them, Horizon, Atlas, Olympus, Magnus Burgundy, Burgundy Private, phenomenal options. This is your stack rank number 1. If you're hotel dependent, time to move to HSBC, get the Premier or the TravelOne because Accor वहाँ मिल रहा है, and they justify the value that they're giving effective immediately.
If you have the Magnus Burgundy though,
Hanji.
you can still get Accor at a better rate because of the AEP plus Jal route.
But we'd rather then move to Star Alliance, no? But if you want hotels, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Aadil, let's add a fun section. I think हमको हमेशा सुनते रहते हैं, हम first class business class redemption करते हैं. I also want to bring the perspective of how many mistakes we make every year. So let's start with one simple question. What are the biggest mistake that you made in the Axis ecosystem this year, last 365 days? Okay. बताओ.
So there are two, I would say. एक तो Aadil always says कि यार तुम flexi booking करो पर आप pay अभी कर दो. He always does that. Accor points. I didn't do that, so that was one big mistake.
And it hurt like hell.
It hurt.
You learned it the hard way.
I still haven't learned it. अभी वो process हुआ नहीं एक तरह से. Second is Axis was so too good to be true that I relied a lot in the last 365 days on Axis. I still had the Infinia, I had the Premier. तो spend diversification मेरा थोड़ा कम ही था. I was thinking यार Axis है, Accor में भेजना है, तो इधर जूस करते हैं. But again learned that the hard way. अभी कर रहे हैं. 1st April के बाद से सारा diversification on है.
We all are human, right? You can book all the Emirates first class in the world, but you can make these mistakes as well. Siddharth, what about you?
The same way, as Sudeep. I mean, for every spend, I didn't really think much. I was like, Thoklo, Magnus Burgundy. Every month for me is an AEP month because I have a few spends that I've characterized in terms of I don't really have to think. So I've got a good stack now, but the problem is I only depended on that card solely. Now, just to restructure the entire ecosystem, I'm going to have to figure out where I can make and optimize my spends using other cards so that I just have more diversity to, for other partners as well.
What is the group A? Did you get the April 1st ke pehle done or did you still?
No, I still have a stack left. So and I've got on my wife's card as well. So I'm going to have to rethink that. I think United is a little underrated. I'm going to try and venture into that as well.
Perfect. What about you, Aadil?
Two mistakes. One is, I feel last year and this year, every quarter, I have moved 10,000 points to ITC, and from there moved it 15,000 to to Marriott for whatever reason, right? I think that was stupid, and I think that was a mistake. मेरे को नहीं लगता है करना चाहिए because there are much more easier avenues of earning Marriott Bonvoy points through American Express. And I feel like now having seen Air India revalue Maharaja Club, यार we do Bombay every year at least once or twice a year. यार 4,000 पॉइंट में इकॉनमी मिल जाता है यार, एंड अवेलेबिलिटी भी सही है बिकॉज 4 सीट आराम से मिल जाती है बॉम्बे के लिए इफ यू प्लान इन एडवांस. तो 16,000 पॉइंट में वन वे एंड टैक्सेस लेट्स से अबाउट मे बी 2-3,000 रुपीज, 32,000 में तुम्हारा रिटर्न ट्रिप, 32,000 पॉइंट्स में रिटर्न ट्रिप इज क्रेजी गुड फॉर अ फैमिली ऑफ 4. सो आई फील लाइक द अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ मूविंग टू ITC was not very smart, and in hindsight I regret that because if you think about एक क्वार्टर में फर्क नहीं पड़ता, जब आप 6 क्वार्टर कंसिस्टेंटली करते हो ना, it becomes a big chunk. So now I have said कि ये क्वार्टर से मैं वो नहीं करूँगा. The second thing I regret is not getting my wife into the Accor ecosystem. She doesn't have even a single card that contributes to the Accor ecosystem. Now what happened was last year I got the signature plan in her name, which means that after 4 months, I can move her points to my account. But if I would have triggered more points in her name via an Accor transfer card, I could have moved those points also because this is my diamond year. तो वो एक opportunity miss हो गई मेरे को लगता है और वो regret है. कोई नहीं, इस quarter solve करेंगे उसको.
Perfect. I think my biggest mistake this year has been I've been overboard on Magnus Burgundy AEP. So for me, I felt that sometimes rather than trying to push, because इतना FOMO चलते रहता मैं AEP में, तो मेरे को भी थोड़ा सा ऐसा लगा कि यार थोड़े से ओवर स्पेंडिंग हो गई. I felt. I feel that Burgundy Private sometimes the 6% is underrated, right? Without that stress of spending too much, you can get 6% very easily. I think that's my mistake this year. I'm going to correct it this year. I think that's my go-to card this year minus the diversification issue. So that's what I'm thinking.
Cool. Chalo, let's bring this to a close. I think this has been a super fun episode. I've really enjoyed this. I think this year, of all the podcasts that I have done, this has been my personal favorite because I thought we went deep into the cards. What I love was going deep into redemptions also. So big thanks Sudeep, big thanks Sid, and big thanks Dhimant for coming over and recording this super fun Axis episode. We're going to be coming up with HDFC and we're going to be coming up with HSBC special episodes as well, even an Amex special one very soon. So stay tuned. This is Sudeep, Dhimant, Sid and Aadil signing off on the Great Indian Points and Miles Show.